This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Just like me.
Welcome again, straight from your favorite government watch list. We are here for another episode of Access Vegas. Some people, like I said, hire a therapist. I do a fucking panel show. So here we go, guys. We're going to introduce all of our guests for today. She is from Las Vegas. She's a sex phone operator. She's a Barbie Dreamhouse organizer. It is Electra Barbie. How's it going, Electra Barbie?
Hi, how's it going?
Nice. There we go. Next to her, she's from San Diego. She's a dancer, a model influencer, a pianist. For the first time here, we got Bria Ellis. Yes, from Chicago. She's a musical artist. This is Liv Lavish. From Sydney, Australia, she's a professional dancer and model. And this is Lisa Cannon, and she's got her Maxim folder, her thing behind her right there. Awesome. It's from Las Vegas, OF content creator. It's Aria. How's it going, Aria?
Hey.
Welcome back.
Again.
She's a former playmate and current threesome coordinator. It's Jessie Preston.
I didn't actually think you were going to go with it.
Yes. Okay. Beautiful. And he's from Los Angeles, dating coach and winner of VH1's The Pickup Artist. It is Alvaro Orlando. How's it going, man?
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien.
Awesome. And she's from Vegas, and she did not want to be on the podcast today. Amber. Let's welcome Amber to the show. Thank you for coming on, Amber. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. All right, guys, we have a ton of things we want to go over. Can we do the dating the same guy thing? You want to do that first?
Yeah, we got that. Ready to roll?
Cool. There's two videos.
Right out the gate. Okay, here we go. Dating the same guy.
You know those Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook groups? Well, this guy in Chicago gets posted by several different women who call him things like psycho, clingy, desperate, ghoster, yada, yada, yada. And what he does is sues at least 27 of those women for defamation. His lawsuit was filed on Monday, and amongst his claims are defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, invasion of privacy, doxing, misappropriation, unjust enrichment, and he requests trial by jury. Man, if I ever get jury duty, this is the type of trial that I want to be on. The Facebook group says they are about protecting and empowering women, not judging men. We do not allow mean-spirited or judgmental comments based on the guy's look, age, or occupation. But the guy says that basically all the comments about him were about judging him and being mean to him.
Okay, guys, so just to back up, there's a guy in one of those Facebook groups. Any of you ladies part of Are We Dating the Same Guy? They have these in different Facebook groups in different cities. You guys are we dating the same guy? Okay.
One of my friends is.
So he did this, and 27 women went in there and just started saying this dude was clingy and fucking weird and all this kind of stuff. So he's suing them in civil court for what they said. Anybody here have any opinions on this? What do you think about this?
I thought it said defecation.
Well,
no, not defecation. Defamation. Defamation.
Yes.
Let's clip this.
That's a different suit.
Defamation.
Yes.
It's a different kind of civil suit. I think one actually might be criminal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Do you have the second
Well,
one?
Amber Heard knows. So.
Okay. So this one has an interesting plot twist. You guys ready? Here's the plot
there's
twist.
a reason we're doing this.
Yes.
Which one were we looking at?
It's the other one. This one right here ends up ZPP.
Let's see. What was it about?
It's the same topic. This right here, this Asian lady.
I don't have that
We're
one.
all
Okay, cool.
eagerly waiting.
I'll pull it. Give me the link.
Okay, cool. Let's do this. All right, guys. Do any of you guys have any opinions when it comes to this? Because we're obviously going to also talk about the whole situation that happened with Andrew Huberman this week. Did anybody here read the article about Andrew Huberman? Anybody? Anybody have any idea what we're talking about?
No, that's why I asked you. I'm like,
when I Googled it, not much
is this
information
person?
came up.
Yeah.
There was only one that was like 6 months ago, something else, and then 12 hours ago, after you mentioned it, it said something about infidelity and abuse behind closed doors. That's all. It was very vague.
Yeah. So basically, what happened is Andrew Huberman in 2021. He is a professor of neurology and ophthalmology at Stanford, and then he has a laboratory. And then he started a podcast in 2021, and it became like the foremost scientific or medical podcast in the country. A lot of people found it to be like medicine or whatever, but I found everything he talked about to be absolutely useful. He goes over, cold plunges, things that you would have a lot of questions about. Yeah. How do I get better sleep? Should I get more sunlight? All this kind of stuff. Well, comes out, the New Yorker writes an article about him when they find out that they interview his girlfriends, his ex-girlfriends. And he was dating 6 of them at the same time and not telling them about each other. Now, the thing is, he's had no ability to comment back. The only time he has commented back is one time he said, I was not seeing that woman at the time. We had already split up. And so it's become this huge controversy. You got it? Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's show this one real quick again. Okay, this is the same situation with the guy. Are we in the same?
For ruining his reputation because he called him clingy. The guy who's trying to sue 27 women for ruining his reputation because they called him clingy on a Facebook group has just been convicted of 2 counts of fraud. He filed a false tax return claiming that he spent a large amount donating to charity while attesting that his salary was below the poverty level. The courts didn't buy it.
What do you guys say? Again, this is one of the most amazing stories I've ever heard in my entire life. A guy is suing 27 women in civil court for talking shit about him, and it turns out like he didn't pay any of his taxes. Does this sound like anyone any of you have ever dated? I'm just curious.
Crazy. This sounds like someone I would talk shit about.
You would? What? Nobody ever had an experience with anyone like this? Okay, we have like a no narcissist group this week. This is incredible.
No, narcissists, yes, I've had experience, but not that guy. Not anything like that. Yeah, not tax fraud guys.
No tax fraud guys?
No.
Yeah. Okay, all right, cool. We'll move along.
You better keep your fucking nose clean these days too.
Yeah, so
that's gonna come out like that. You better know what you're doing.
So can we sue guys that are like talking shit on our Instagrams, like you fat ugly whore? Like, can we sue them then?
I would love that.
So you can if they accuse you of a crime, or you can prove damages.
My self-esteem was damaged, right? So like I can say, ooh, I'm scared to go on social media now because
Jesse, you can file that suit. You will not win
you
that
won't
suit.
Sue that suit. Yeah.
So people can just say whatever they want. Is what
people
you're saying.
say whatever they want about me.
But what damages is he filing?
But that's the weird thing because when you're in that group, well, so there's different cities, right?
Yeah.
So are we dating the same guy? It's not always.
Yeah, of course.
There's different cities.
Right.
So the Vegas one, there have been plenty of times where since you and I are industry, we know everyone.
Yeah.
I'll see someone that we know. And the comments will just be like, this guy does this, he does this, and he does this. And another girl will be like, he's not even cute. Why do girls put up with this? And that will get deleted by the people who monitor the website. They do not allow. One time I said, this is going to be really mean. One time I said, I don't know, a guy that collects anime seems kind of like autistic-y, a little tismy. And they deleted my comment like, you can't say stuff like that. I was like, oh, my bad. Like, whatever. But they are very, very strict with monitoring and making sure that people are not on there just to like be mean. Which I wasn't trying to just be mean. I was pointing out.
We don't have one in Vegas. Are you dating the same girl? Because we'd all be fucked if we did that one.
So make one.
No one does it.
Make one.
Okay, you know what? I will. I definitely will. I think it'll be the funniest shit ever. Are we dating the same sugar baby? That's what we're gonna do.
How did you guys find out about the group?
These are famous.
It's
like
super
I've heard
famous.
from every girl I know has told me. Not every girl I know, but like I've heard several different stories about are we dating the same guy, and they're blowing up.
The first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club, and the first rule about that club is to protect the women's safety and not to tell other people about the club.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be accepted in like your. It's girls are not creating these pages. This is what men don't understand. Girls are not creating these pages to ruin another man's game just because they're salty that things didn't work out.
Yeah.
We're trying to protect each other from someone who could potentially do really harmful damage to you.
Yeah.
And they have a history of doing it to many other women, but they don't know about it.
Are there any apps that are like reverse the genders? Like where it's like, are we dating the same bitch?
I was about to say
I
that.
told them to
something
create
like
one.
that?
Just make one for the girls.
And we're going to go look that up. I think there might be something
You
like
think so?
that.
Hey,
I'm
guys,
so
check it
excited
out.
to find out that my clients are all dating the same girl. That'd be incredible.
Just
Not
let me have access to it, please.
Yeah, you want that?
Yeah.
All right, nice. Beautiful. All right.
Make
All
a
right,
fake
cool.
account.
The reason when we get into
So I know.
this is the big setup. For
Yeah, we're
Andrew
setting up for
Huberman.
something else.
We're setting up for Huberman here. But the thing is like this guy was dating multiple chicks, correct?
Which one? The guy on
The guy that
on the
we,
thing
that
on
we
the
just
clip?
saw. We
With
just
the
saw
tax fraud?
the guy.
Yeah.
It's tax fraud guy.
It's the same clip with the same guy in both clips.
Same guy.
So
in
he's
both
mad
clips.
that he got called out for being clingy and weird,
And then he
he's
sued the
suing.
women, and now the IRS is coming after him for filing his taxes.
How many? Do you know how many women were involved in that suit?
27.
27. So he was seeing 27 women
I
consent.
don't think at the same time.
No. So a lot of them like said he's creepy and weird. So like when I look at the dude, it's very clear. Like he gets in the door because he was good looking, and then once they talk to him, they realize he's
falls
just
apart.
super fucking weird.
Yeah.
And so
that
that's
should be
what
a lesson
that's what he
to
does.
all you
Yeah.
guys. It's not just
Exactly.
about looks. You got to be congruent.
No, but my point is
Very
that guy.
much so.
I promise you, this guy
true.
passes the Tinder test. Like
yeah.
he's the reason
For
why
looks.
we wouldn't even be discussing this if he wasn't a good looking guy. He's probably in that top 4.5% where women approach him, and
swiping.
because of that, they get that he gets a first date, but he gets a first date with a lot of girls, and in doing so, he gets super clingy, very cool, probably. And when they're saying super clingy, what may have happened is previously he tried to love bomb another girl, and it worked. Guys, you guys understand when men do stupid shit, a lot of times, like Matt Lauer, when he was like exposing himself to his employees, you want to know why he was doing that? Because it probably worked previously. You know, with the
He got away with it.
Yeah, the same thing with Weinstein. The reason why Weinstein was able to get away with the things he was doing is because the first 20 or 30 times it probably worked. Do you understand what I'm saying? People do things because they work, and they stop doing them because they don't. Anyway, so I thought that was interesting that he was doing that. And now he's getting hit up for this is pretty narcissistic activity. I want to make sure to set this
karma.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Mike, with Harvey, nobody wanted to call him out though.
Yeah.
That was a big problem. Everybody was scared of him.
Yeah.
He was
And-
too powerful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
we
he
see
wrote
that a lot.
if you read the stories
I
about
know.
him ruining what's her face, Selma Hayek's career. You know, he propositioned to have sex with her, and she said no. The thing is, where we have to make the distinction is that we can't do what we did with Weinstein. Weinstein was guilty. We can't do the same thing when we're talking about Aziz Ansari or we're talking about Johnny Depp. They weren't guilty.
Yeah.
Same thing with Trevor Bauer. And the problem that, and I mentioned this before, is that there's this 4 or 5 or 6% of women that claim SA or they claim that they were raped, and they do that to other people, like this situation with Lindsey Hill and Trevor Bauer, and that causes a great number of women to never claim that they were assaulted, and that's the problem. A lot of women don't want to speak up because of it, and it's because there's some dudes who cry wolf, and that's a big fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is a different situation. Let's go to what do you want to go to the Mac and Murphy one?
Oh, I thought you wanted to do Huberman.
Let's do it. Let's do Huberman.
This is, let's see.
Today, New York Magazine ran a hit piece on Andrew Huberman. Andrew Huberman is a neurobiologist from Stanford who has gotten famous over the last couple years because he has helped millions of people get healthy. Now, the hit piece was not about how he's convinced millions of Americans to quit drinking alcohol, or how he's explained the dangers of using tobacco, or how he's explained the importance of exercise, or how he's disseminated the information of how getting sunlight in your eyes and regulating your circadian rhythm is crucial for your health. Rather, the hit piece is about his private life. They dig into his private life and his relationships with women. They do this to try to frame Andrew Huberman in a negative light. I think this is extremely disgusting, and let me know if you agree with me on this. What Andrew Huberman does in his public life is he puts out a podcast and he puts out tons of information on how to improve your health. And let me know below if Andrew Huberman has helped your health in any way, because he certainly has helped mine. Once that flame starts to burn very bright, they have no other choice. They have nothing to attack but his personal life. It is insane to me that they ran this piece, and it seems to me they're just trying to tear down somebody who has helped so many people with their health. Me personally, I don't care what Andrew Huberman does in his private life. I can watch any podcast I want, and I choose to watch his because it contains really valuable information about subjects that I am interested in. I am not going to this guy for relationship advice or how I should treat women in my private life, and he doesn't talk about that. I think it's disgusting what we do nowadays, prying apart people's private lives, and I really question why New York Magazine would run this piece. Most of the funding for mainstream media comes from the pharmaceutical industry. It also comes from processed food companies. Right below that is alcohol companies. Here you have somebody who has gained fame and gained millions of listeners, and what does he say? Eat real food, don't drink alcohol, tobacco's bad for you, and he is making a giant impact. He's sold out an arena in Australia. Consumers are beginning to vote with their dollar, and when something becomes such a big threat to their bottom line, they will do what they need to do to destroy that person. So I stand with Dr. Huberman. Let me know if you do below. Keep in mind that he has broke no laws. All the stuff that they said in his personal life, there's no law.
All right, let's keep
Okay.
First of all, drinking game.
way
You drinking
over.
game. Every time he says personal life, I want you to take a shot, because he said that like 25 times.
Sure.
Every single time.
Well, what's your opinion on this?
Private
I know you're not super familiar with Andrew Huberman, but what do you think about this whole situation? So just so we can back up, Andrew Huberman does a podcast on medicine.
I've seen all his stuff.
For
like,
sure.
Like sporadically, it'll come up on my feed.
But he doesn't hit you up about dating advice.
Why does that matter if he's doing abusive things behind closed doors?
Yeah, no, it wasn't abusive. It's that he was seeing multiple women at the same time. Yeah.
The article that I saw said that he was abusive.
What do you mean? Like physically abusive?
It didn't say. That's what I was telling you at the
Yeah,
beginning. It was very vague. It said that he was very disloyal and unfaithful.
Okay.
And that he was abusive, literally the word abusive, behind closed doors.
I didn't see anything
probably mental.
implying that
I'm sure
he hit
like
anyone.
verbal abuse or whatever, but regardless, what he does in his private life is just like any other celebrity or any other person on the planet. Just because you do something good in the front line and you show that you're a good person or giving advice or helpful does not mean that behind closed doors you get to be a monster.
Okay, right. So just consider in other situations when you're supposed to have investigative journalism, you should get multiple sources, right?
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
So they substantiated nothing of what these women said. He just talked to 6 women who said that we were dating him at different times, and some of them say we're dating concurrently. When they asked Andrew Huberman, they said I was not seeing this girl at this time or whatever. So they haven't got his side of the story at all.
So why is this even news then?
Oh, it's because it's one of the biggest stories in the world.
Biggest stories on there.
I think it's because of how famous he is.
Yeah, I think like
Mm-hmm.
him bringing in, new fans and bringing in money, monetizing, no tobacco, no alcohol, that's a big thing. So of course they're gonna put a negative light on that and try to dim his light, try to take that away from him because, the media doesn't like that. The media wants to focus on the negative stuff.
Yeah, and if they take it away from like the tobacco and alcohol and everything, like they're getting a loss financially.
Yeah, right.
So,
And that's why he was saying like the voters, how he's getting, he's bringing in a different level of health and wealth.
He's
they don't like that.
But the thing is, when you read the article, there's a few things that are very terrifying about it. Number one, the article begins by talking about the fact that he does give good advice. He really does. When something's his opinion, he says his opinion. When something's a medical fact, he talks about that. But people are saying because he's a doctorate of neurology, he can't talk about cold plunges. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, that is one of the criticisms that I hear. None of the criticisms are actually about the advice that he gives. I mean, there's some vague ones that are in there. The majority of the criticism is about the fact that these 6 women said that he was dating them at the same time. Wait, say it again?
Who cares?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's my point.
Who cares?
And so many people out there do that.
That's his private life.
I know.
Okay.
It's his private, so let him have that.
Can we pull this up real quick? I want to show you guys something.
And maybe they weren't exclusive.
Well, here it is.
Stop. Can you stop it real quick?
New York
Go
Magazine.
to the beginning. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Real quick, with this, real quick, remember what he said? What were the reasons? Who was the main people behind advertising? Anybody?
Big Pharma.
Big Pharma.
Big grub.
Processed foods.
Big food.
Okay. And then I want you to pay attention to this woman right here who looks like she's had a bit of processed foods. And then let's listen to what she has to say here.
She needs a cold plunge.
Here it is. New York Magazine putting out this big expose on Dr. Andrew Huberman, and it's not good. And you know what else I want to say? Let the record show. For years on here, I have been calling out this guy, saying he's a little bit grifty. I have been noting some of the things that are in the article about what is actually his area of expertise. What is actually this lab? It's all in the article. A lot of the stuff that I talked about 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, is in this article. And I got so much crap, in particular from men being like, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know anything, da-da-da-da-da. Kind of seems like I did know some stuff. Do I know everything? No. Does this man seem like a deceitful, manipulative POS? Yes. I do wish, though, that the article focused a little bit more on how he really tries to brand himself as this expert in everything. Like, I have a video up about how when he does his, is alcohol bad for you episode.
Is alcohol bad for you?
He pulls from a study that links breast cancer and alcohol consumption, but it's from 1987. And I've talked to a few people who have said, yeah, you really, shouldn't actively be pulling the data from that at this point, because now we have all these genetic markers, etc. And then another thing I would say is I did another one where I showed how he was oh, okay, we're gonna call, people are saying moderately running on a treadmill, so I'm gonna call that, and he used his own terminology and then based his own theory off the terminology he uses. No,
that's so
actually
damning.
not how you do actual studies. Anyway, all of this to say, read the article. Dr.
Okay,
Huberman,
now hey guys, ready? Ready here. Watch here. I'm gonna point at someone who didn't read the fucking article because the article had nothing to do with his fucking medical advice. It had to do with him dating 6 women at once, and she didn't bring that up once. Normally I would never make remarks about someone's physical appearance. I just think it's funny that a woman with a jiggly chin is sitting there talking about how he's talking about you shouldn't drink alcohol and running on a treadmill. No shit, Karen. No shit. No wonder you don't fucking like that.
Stop it.
What?
You said she has a jiggly chin.
Whatever. I don't care. Like normally I would never make a comment about that, but it's just so apparent when you heard the previous one. Yes, people who process foods, like again, the mainstream the food industrial complex, they don't like it when people come out there and tell you to eat paleo, eat real food, stay away from junk food.
Yeah.
Go again. You want to know another one? TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. Go to the gym. Because why? Because now I don't need Xanax anymore. Now I don't need an erectile dysfunction pill anymore. I don't watch porn anymore, so I don't need an ED fucking pill anymore. Oh, you're kidding me. I don't need to fucking, I can sleep because I go to the gym every day and eat properly, so now I don't need your fucking sleeping pills anymore. You're kidding me. I can actually fix these problems on my own. Let me see, is there a source on here? What's the #1 source on the fucking internet for that type of information? It's that podcast. And then I see this woman with her fucking jiggly chin sitting there talking about, he's made it an excuse about walking on a treadmill. Are you out of your fucking mind? Because you want to know who doesn't walk on a treadmill? I can tell you right now. Guys, listen to me. I love, like, again, I get this thing, it's like, oh, drink red wine before you go to bed because there's antioxidants. Eat some fucking broccoli. They have antioxidants. I don't mind if anyone drinks. Just stop telling me it's good for you because it's fucking not. Yeah. Okay, that's the part that's
There's
so crazy.
There's other ways to get your antioxidants.
But my point is, did this woman at any point talk, you heard it at the end, he goes, I really wish they had gone into more about him being a grifter. They didn't, because he's not a grifter, because you weren't right, Karen. That's the problem. And that shit made me so angry when I saw this, because here's the thing. I feel bad initially because I hate the fact that we're even talking about this. Because Andrew Huberman is worth more than probably, as far as his podcast is concerned, he's helped more people. If I was going to say Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan, whatever, Logan Paul, whoever the biggest podcasters are, he's helped more people as far as being a popular podcast, you could possibly say, than anyone in the world. And you're trying to tear this dude down. Yeah. And just not get his side of the story. Again, he is not giving me fucking dating advice.
Why has he not commented on anything that's been reported?
I'm going to ask you a question. No, so I don't know. He has. He had I don't know, somebody in his, I don't know if it was a PR agent or whatever, his personal team denoted that there in a couple of cases that the women said that they were dating him at a certain time, and he's like, we weren't together. Ladies, have you ever dated a guy non-exclusively and then it got exclusive?
Yes.
And then for a while it wasn't exclusive again?
Yes.
So that's happened before. Where like you guys are like moves out of your apartment, but you're still sleeping together and it's not exclusive. But you used to be exclusive. So, and then you find out he's seeing someone else, and then you get angry. That could happen. Yeah. That actually could happen. We have no context to know what was going on in that situation.
Because that's his private life. We don't know those personal things.
Yes.
It's outside looking in, so why are we defining this person by that?
No,
stuff,
defining this person.
right?
How about at the end of the article when all 6 of the girls are in a group chat together? Yeah. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Are you kidding me? This is like terrifying to me. Like we're getting into this point where it's like, this seems totally normal. And it's not, because remember the media went after Tiger Woods. Because Tiger Woods, what did he do? He cheated on his wife with Denny's waitresses and fucking porn stars. That's why we had a problem with it, because he cheated on his wife. But what did we say about Derek Jeter? Does anyone remember? We said nothing when he was fucking Jessica Biel and Jessica Alba and Mariah Carey. We said nothing. What happened with George Clooney? What did we say about George Clooney? We said nothing. Nothing. We didn't say shit about Magic Johnson. We didn't say about any of these fucking dudes. We didn't say anything. You want to know why? Because they weren't married. And now we just dropped the bar. You don't even have to fucking be married anymore. Right. Wasn't it horrible how he cheated on his wife? Wait a second. He's not even fucking married. That's the part that's so crazy.
Let me see if I can give you some context here. Okay, so Andrew Huberman is how old now? 49?
48, 49, yeah.
49, okay. Jacked.
Yeah.
Good
looking,
looking,
really good.
Good looking guy. Like, takes care of himself, obviously. Has a PhD in something.
I think he has 2 PhDs.
Okay, yeah, okay. So the guy is at Stanford. Okay, so that's the other thing. Guy is the definition of a high value dude. Let's just be honest here. Okay, I don't know how tall is he. Probably taller than me.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
He's got enough podcast subs to not make up for being
exactly.
5'2". He's good.
Yeah, he makes up for it. Anyways, I would say, okay, then the other part is never been married, no kids, correct? Because I know he was wanting. The article itself said he wanted to have kids. That was one of his future goals or whatever. At 48 years old, right? So by all measurements, this guy is the ideal mate for the women that are like now complaining about this guy, because according to the article, he had a quote-unquote type, okay?
Yeah.
That type was anywhere in the late 30s to early 40s.
Okay.
She had to be educated. She had to have sort of like take care of herself into paleo or whatever, taking cold plunges, whatever, having something that is, compatible with him.
How much you want to make about the woman who wrote the article is also in that same demographic?
Definitely. When I show you the next video, we can confirm that. We will confirm that in the next video.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I just have to say something. Huberman?
Huberman.
Okay. So based on the description you're giving me, if you're going to date this guy, you have to know what you're signing up.
Right. That's
okay,
exactly where I was going.
But hold on, but let's talk about this. I agree with you, and I also ladies. You ever met a male stripper or DJ or a fucking VIP host who lies about fucking multiple? And has that ever happened to you? Ladies, raise your fucking hand. You live in Las Vegas. Stop keeping your hand down.
I haven't dated her, but I know.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about. It happens.
Whoever do you mean?
The shit happens all the time. I want you to consider this, though, right? I want you to consider this. Those guys, they know what they're doing because they probably, ladies, be real. You or a friend have at least know one guy you've been with that has 100 body count.
Oh my God,
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
More.
All of them.
More.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
Got it? All right, cool. These guys know what they're talking about. Andrew Huberman grew up, or he at least was studying in a part of the world where some of the most hideous women in the country live, which is the northern part of California.
Right.
And
Silicon Valley.
While he's there, there's I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you guys, it's like fucking 17 dudes for every girl, and the guys are rich. And so he lives there. He's studying for 2 PhDs, and then he has a girlfriend. Now, just imagine if you have a girlfriend. The guys who are watching this, you're totally going to be able to follow along. Maybe some of you ladies won't. You have a girlfriend. This is the hottest girl you've ever been with in your life. Then all of a sudden, you get 4 million people following you on fucking YouTube. And women come up to you that are hotter than any woman you've ever seen in your life, just ready to have sex with you. Now, I know, it's so terrible. None of you ladies could possibly imagine why any guy would ever do that. But there's no dude out there who's listening to this is like, yeah, I kind of get it. Like, again, and by the way, you can also cheat and not be a narcissist. Women cheat, and I don't think they're narcissists just because they cheat. You just found something better. You weren't getting what you needed out of a relationship. Men can cheat, and that doesn't make them narcissists. There is nothing about this article. He's done so much to help other people. That is not the activity of a narcissist. So that's why I have a big problem with this.
I'm confused as to what is the picture that you're trying to paint? That we don't need to label him because of what he does behind closed doors, or that we don't know enough to accuse him of anything?
Yes.
Like, what are we trying to get at with this conversation?
So good. Three different things. Number one, it's really out of bounds for them to write this article. Number two, we don't know what the truth is. And even if we don't condone, Mac and Murphy had a really great quote. He was like, I'm not a fan of Andrew Huberman, but I feel gross reading this article, right? Because they're going after him. And the thing is, like, I'm just really curious how the rest of the people in that academic sphere are going to rally around. Is Lex Fridman going to shun him, or we're going to see a situation where what Chris Williamson is going to do? Because here's the thing. Because I got news for you. When Chris Williamson or Lex Fridman fuck up, they're going to do this to them too.
Oh yeah.
And they better recognize this. This is the same thing with Jonah Hill. All the people who stood up for Jonah Hill were part of a political party that Jonah Hill doesn't belong to, so he was never able to acknowledge it. And I'm worried about the same situation with Huberman, because when this situation is all the guys that are standing up for him being like, dude, he didn't do anything wrong, they're not part of the same political party that academia is.
I don't know what his PR team is like. Because I know he's probably has to have people. A guy that big has to have people, right? So when people are asking, well, how come he hasn't like responded to any of this yet? I'm like, if he has a smart PR team, they won't say jack shit for a while. Yeah. Because what they're going to do is they're going to make it look bad for New York Magazine, which it does now, because we're doing shows like this, because people are responding as the way that they are.
Chill at the house, Andrew. I'll make them look bad, because they look bad, because we're about to make them look even fucking worse.
Give your PR team a raise, because you did exactly what you should do. So what's happening is they're looking to see which way sort of like the wind blows as far as public opinion is concerned. Now, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be boys against girls. Yeah. Guys are going to go, he's a genius. I can't believe he's being pilloried like this. And then there's going to be women who are saying he's a manipulative motherfucker, and he's like had 6 women that he was fucking at the same time, and he led them on. He was manipulating them, yada yada yada. And that is where the real story is in the meat of this.
If hypothetically he is manipulating 6 women, that's wrong. I want you guys to understand. I still think that's wrong.
I was looking at all of the conversations in the Twitter feeds about this. All the women were like, he's a manipulative son of a bitch, and every dude on there is like, why are you digging into his personal life?
If I'm not saying if that's true, he's not wrong. Number one, we don't know if it's true, but that's not the point. The point is he's not a dating coach, and he's not a Christian seminary leader. He is talking about science. He's talking about wearing a fucking Oura ring and putting like getting some sunlight in your eyes. Like, it's crazy to me.
I think that not saying at all that the girls are right for saying anything about his personal life, but I think the point that some of the women are trying to make is that you're taking advice from someone who behind closed doors is not the person he's alluding himself to be, this healthy, well-rounded, mentally,
that's my one critique.
So, but that's like a lot of people.
That makes sense, but how is he unhealthy and not getting enough sunlight because of his
do you want to take advice from someone that tells you that the best optimal way of living is a certain way, but behind closed doors they're manipulative, they're abusive, they're
who isn't honest?
Listen,
for health, yes. For dating, I'll get a dating coach.
But regardless, you're still preaching to people how to have a better quality of life. And the kind of person who manipulates and cheats and lies and abuses people is not a healthy, mentally and emotionally sound person. So I think that is the only component of this that gets led down a different road, because A, what happens behind closed doors is his business, but B, if there's no proof of it, then I wouldn't even know why they would comment about the abuse.
This is so little. The problem is those 6 women have every right to talk as much shit about him as they want, just not in the fucking New Yorker. That's crazy. Front page on the New Yorker. Could you imagine the cover story? Do you want to know something?
The New Yorker did, not them.
But hold on a second. Let me tell you something else. If I was dating 6 women at the same time and I got caught, the New Yorker wouldn't write about it because I'm not that popular. You want to know? So not only is the New Yorker doing this to a man who isn't married, they're swagger jacking him because he's the most popular dude in this whole field.
No, because it gets them publicity.
Okay, that's what swagger jacking means.
Okay, but do you understand? Like, it's the same thing as that girl's video that you posted the last time I was here, where she's like, I want to get gangbanged by like 600 people in the bathroom. Yeah. Like, obviously, they're jumping on a bandwagon of something that's has no right. Like, I don't know. They just want to be able to say that they had a piece of, I guess, the pie that's being passed out right now. And if it's really not that deep, because no one has had proof yet, then why are we even talking about it?
Because it's shitty to like jab at somebody's character.
Well, yeah, but why are people perpetuating it if they don't have the proof?
Because in the interest of full disclosure, he has talked about relationship stuff. He has talked with Dr. David Buss before. He has done relationship podcasts in the past.
But he was. I don't think he was giving prescriptions.
No, he was doing interviews.
Even if that's not his forte, and that's like the thing that he does the most, he's still out there preaching about having a better, healthy life. And you can't be a healthy person if you're a abusive person.
So I don't see any evidence of the abuse. I see
Agreed. That's why it shouldn't have even brought up.
I see some evidence that he may have been talking to multiple women at the same time. Now, here's the thing. Albert Einstein came up with a theory of relativity and won the Nobel Prize for the photoelectric effect in 1921, and he still fucked his cousin. I'm sorry. Like, should I just stop listening to the fucking guy? It doesn't make any difference. What's his face? Isaac Newton invented differential calculus when he was 25 years old and died a virgin. So I just shouldn't listen to him because he's bad at dating advice? No. If you're right, here's the thing. If you're right, you're right. It doesn't make any difference. That's why I don't agree with you on this. If he is coming up with scientific surveys to show a proof, I don't care if he's fucking 12 girls at the same time. Okay. The truth is the truth. If you're right, you're right.
You don't care.
Okay.
You don't care.
But it doesn't mean it's wrong. But it doesn't mean he's wrong.
And no one has said to him that none of his stuff is right.
That Karen earlier with the jiggly chin said his stuff was wrong.
But the Karen with the jiggly chin is looking for her 15 minutes as well.
For sure.
Regardless, everyone knows that he's done more good than bad, right? So I think that right now the only thing is that you don't care. Like, he beat the fuck out of this girl one time.
Bro, if he beat the fuck out of his girlfriend and there was proof, this wouldn't even be an article, and it wouldn't be in the New Yorker either. It'd be in the New York Times.
I'm saying what you're saying is that you don't really care about that component. It's not that
I think this is fucked up in general because shit gets spun no matter what. So, like, if you weren't physically there to be involved as him with these individual girls, you have no idea what their fucking dynamic is. And women are crazy. Trust me, I have nothing but girlfriends, too.
No one will ever know except for those two in the room.
So, like, the crazy thing is you can't take what could be his personal. For all we know, he could be dating through time, trying to find a girl that he feels is his perfect match.
Which is pretty much
we
what
don't
it is.
know.
It's normal.
You know what I mean? It's none of our damn fucking business.
And maybe
you know,
those
let
other
the
girls
man
are
do
dating other men
business
as
life
well.
and
No,
personal lives are two different things.
my
Let
issue-
the man create his livelihood.
The other issue is you have relationships that go from exclusive to non-exclusive because you went into a fight, and so maybe one person thinks it's exclusive, the other person. I'm not saying that
You guys are speculating. We don't have to justify why he had more than one girl at the same time. That's
Sure.
his business. The only thing that I keep saying to you that matters to me is that when you said this is what we're going to be talking about, the one vague thing that I saw, the one article that I saw said that he was very, very unfaithful and that he was abusive behind closed doors. So the component of being abusive and not a stand-up guy is the only thing that matters to me in this conversation. If there is no proof of him being abusive and no one's actually coming out and saying like there's bruises or whatever.
So what we should do is look at the article and see if there's any proof about how the article was written. Do you have any proof about that?
Or who even wrote it. It could be some fucking angry, crazy ex who's writing it. And then you have it one-sided.
Let's load up
Just
Cigar.
because somebody writes something and it's their opinion doesn't make it fact.
Wait,
you
before we
know,
go
and
to
yet
it-
people
Okay, go
will
ahead,
hang to
Lou.
anything negative to believe it because it makes them feel better.
Go ahead, Lou.
So,
Absolutely.
I just want to say, I feel like as a society, we've kind of been like desensitized to this, but just because a man isn't married, I still feel like cheating is bad. Like, I don't want
I agree with you. Cheating is bad. My point is, but is it New Yorker?
No.
The
I'm
front
saying
page of the
side
New Yorker.
note, Side note.
You
I'm
gotta
just
take
saying
that up with the
one
New
of the
Yorkers.
girls
Stop telling
probably
us.
is like
The
knew
way
someone. That's
the
why.
conversation has been going is he's not married. We shouldn't be talking about this because he's not married. But just we need to realize the society that we're creating.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I don't think it's not because he's not married. I think we shouldn't be talking about this because it's not our business. I think that's the issue.
That's not the focus that we should be worried about.
By the way,
because what you focus on is what grows.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I believe.
Yeah.
So if you want to put all your focus on, you know, that one main
and they're
component,
choosing to concentrate
it's just
on that
like
one
let's
thing.
you know. So and the reason why we're talking about it today is because this is someone that
Jesse,
you guys have
you're probably
listened
going to want to
to.
hear this. Hold on.
You guys have listened to, and you guys are basically like not fans, but supporters of who he is. So
Or
that's
even
why
if I
or
know
who
people,
you've known him to be.
Even
anyway.
if I wasn't like again, Mac and Murphy, he's not a supporter of him. It just feels gross that they did this.
Right.
Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
Before I get started, I want to get a few things out of the way. First is, I'm biased in the story I'm about to cover. Dr. Andrew Huberman, he's a personal friend to the point we've exchanged texts, phone calls, we've met in person. A lot of my anger around this is of seeing my friend smeared, but I'm also going to try and fuse my personal outrage at an injustice to a friend with some journalistic rigor and expose what I believe to be a genuine hit job that has bigger cultural implications. Let's start with the smear job itself. New York Magazine, which is a subsidiary of Vox Media, published a front page story on Monday morning titled Falling for Dr. Huberman, the private and public seductions of the world's biggest pop neuroscientist. Now, you might expect the story to detail perhaps some health lies or bad advice possibly that was proven from the most popular health podcast in the world, and you open up that story. You find 8,000 words. After reading them all, you will come away with this information. Dr. Andrew Huberman, who is unmarried, engaged in simultaneous relationships with up to 6 women, according to his ex-girlfriends and lovers. I'm not kidding. And if you want, you can read the entire piece for yourself. It exhaustively details a lead-up of how Huberman has self-admitted to therapy and a tough childhood, then immediately begins to parse in detail these scurrilous allegations of his ex-girlfriends who apparently have formed their own group chat to try and take him down. What is crazier is what I then found out by asking those behind the scenes. Now, according to those familiar with New York Magazine's original reach out to Dr. Huberman, the vibe started out quite a bit different. The New York Magazine's original email, which I obtained and is so unbelievable that I was given permission to read a few quotes for you here on the show, is in August of 2023, New York Magazine reporter Carrie Howley emailed saying, quote, I am writing in the hopes that one of my big stories this year might be the phenomenon of Dr. Andrew Huberman. When my editor suggested I look into him, I basically shot him down. It didn't seem like the kind of thing I would be into. I listened to a single episode. Predictably, months later, I'm fully addicted convicted, and devoted. She continues, due to some of the episodes that deal with stress, I'm taking care of my mental health. It was almost like I couldn't engage or become interested until Dr. Huberman made it all profoundly concrete and chemical. I know I'm far from the only person to have experienced this change. She adds a few more buttery things about how much she loved the podcast, and she said, and got no reply. Now, the story should have died there, right? No. Suddenly, the Huberman love affair turned into something very different. Months later, those familiar say that Huberman's colleagues, his family, and his friends from high school began to be inundated with emails from New York Magazine requesting anonymous information on Dr. Huberman. One of the emails reads as follows. Subject line, off-the-record conversation with New York Mag. Email text, quote, in the interest of transparency, there have been serious allegations made about Andrew as well as the academic work that he is up to these days. Now, hold on a second. What serious allegations? That he was not faithful to his girlfriend? Why is that pertinent to speak to his colleagues about? And what about his work at Stanford? What are you talking about? Here it turns out nothing, despite the author's best efforts to smear Andrew Huberman's work at Stanford and presenting him as some no-show at his own lab, insinuating that something was afoot because of its transition. Stanford itself stood up for him in the piece, saying his lab was fully operational, nothing she was insinuating was true. As for these, quote, serious allegations, again, literally, it is from his personal life. And where did these allegations come from? Well, it doesn't take a genius to see that the sources of this story are jilted lovers of Andrew Huberman's. And it appears, based upon my conversations, again, with those familiar, that the reporter was able to make contact with them by literally trolling for negative comments on Reddit threads and Instagram comments. So the timeline is basically this. She asked for a profile and pretended to be a fan. He said no, or basically didn't reply. Then she connects with these jilted lovers, leaving anonymous comments on the internet. Then those claims, including incorrect ones about his work at Stanford, are presented to colleagues, friends, and family of Huberman's, including his own father, to react to. Any positive comments attesting to his character were not included in the story. The full allegations of the women were printed with complete credibility, even though many have exhibited some pretty crazy behavior in their retaliation against him. So, those are the specifics of how this all came to be. But let me just put this aside right now and just say this. Let's say every word of it is true. Every last word. What is the relevance of any of this? Not once in this story did they ever dispute a single word that Andrew Huberman ever said on his podcast. Not once did they prove that he is less than he says he is, including the fact that Stanford University publicly confirms that he remains not only a professor, but one who continues to publish research and teach students at this university. Not once were they able to prove misinformation, malinformation, whatever you want to call it. This is not a story. It is a character assassination of, yes, a man who is my friend, but a man who I believe has changed millions of lives for the better. Andrew Huberman does not tell you to do anything. He gives you information that you can research and check for yourself. He gives you protocols like look in the sun in the morning if you want to sleep better, avoid alcohol, and by and large to try and live a healthier lifestyle. Or he will interview a world-renowned scholar on the subject, and he will draw out information that might be relevant to you, if you want it to be. As far as I'm concerned, that's the only thing that's relevant about him. And if they could find anything he said regarding that which is wrong or was malicious, I'm all ears and I wouldn't be doing anything like this. They didn't. That's why I'm doing this monologue. Because this was an attempt, for some reason or the other, to take him down for just simply being the most popular health podcaster in the world. He doesn't have to rely on mainstream media to get this information, and I guess that alone is his crime, for which he has now been sentenced and convicted in the court of public opinion by New York Magazine. It is not right. And if you ever benefited from his advice, you should share this with people you know, so the actual truth gets out there. Crystal?
There we go.
Well, I think it's kind of cool because that answers our question right there. Like, why hasn't he said anything? This is exactly why. Because now his PR they can win off of this, and it's a publicity.
Well, that's not his PR. I mean, that's not his PR.
Not him,
that's his
but
friend.
I'm just saying, like, later on when he does say something, it's like, you know.
Just imagine, though, if I'm trying to write an article about you, and I'm like, hey, I'm just a huge fan of all your music, blah, blah, blah. I just tell you all these lies and then just come up and then start accosting your family members so that I can, like, what I'm saying is, so two things. Number one, he said correctly, they did not contend anything he said medically. remember Karen up there saying, I said this guy was a grifter, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
That's the issue. So, like, it turns out he wasn't a grifter. Nothing she said was true. And then additionally, when we go back to the other part, it's like we're sitting there like talking about his whole life when they pretended to not do a hit piece on him, and they actually just imagine if somebody was like, hey, Michael, I want you to come on my podcast, and then I go on there, and then they just start showing, like, as soon as I get on, it's like a live stream, and they're like, here's your tax records, and blah, blah, blah. Like, complete, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the issue. This was absolutely a hit piece. And what I'm saying is there's supposed to be some level of journalistic integrity in this country, and that is none.
True.
Your journalistic integrity are his ex-girlfriends. Congratulations, bro. Pulitzer Prize for you. That's incredible. Anyway, so that's what I thought about that.
Let me throw in a couple of disclaimers into all of this really quickly here. First off is you got to remember he has a type. That's number one. Between, like, say, 38 and 43 or somewhere around. I've read the article, read it a couple times. When they are describing the kind of girl that he likes to date, that he wants to be with, they all follow this. They repeat this over and over. She's very intelligent. She's very empowered. She's very strong. One of the main girl has like 2 kids, and he was like a little concerned about her fertility because he wants to have kids as well. And she's 43, so she's pushing into the perimenopause area right there. So honestly, I can understand why he would be concerned with something like that. But he's basically spinning 6 plates at the same time, right? And the one, if I have a criticism for him, first of all, if those women are as intelligent and as empowered as the article says, they didn't know that this is Andrew fucking Huberman. They didn't know that this guy is jacked at like 48, 49 years old and is the number one podcaster in his niche and is just just an amazing individual to begin with. Do you not think that there will be other women that would be like in some way interested with this guy? So that's number one. Number two is if I can find one fault in Andrew Huberman is that he was not above board about it. Now, we got a pickup artist right here. And I know that in the past I have talked about spinning plates as well. But one of the things that I talk about when I say men need to date non-exclusively is you need to be above board with it. You need to do the opposite of what Huberman was doing, which is trying to juggle or spin 6 plates at the same time and trying to essentially, I think what a lot of women would like is in the New Yorker here would like people to believe is that this is the new Tinder swindler. That this is the guy who has all these chicks that he's just stringing along, and they're taking out bank loans for him and everything out. Now, maybe not to that extreme, but if you could turn Andrew Huberman into the Tinder swindler, that sells magazines. That's going to sell a story. My only concern with all of this is, and I understand there's going to be somebody going to say, well, it's his integrity, it's his character. So does that in any way damage the information that he's delivering? No, it doesn't. But do you now look at him? He's going to be looked at in a different light now. And one of the reasons I titled this episode, Andrew Huberman needs the red pill, is because he should have just simply been above board. You're Andrew fucking Huberman, right? Tiger Woods got screwed because he was married and he was trying to keep it all under the table all the time. Instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to divorce my wife. This is not the lifestyle that I want to be in now because I realize that I'm Tiger fucking Woods, right? He is Andrew Huberman. And I would say that probably, and this is just me speculating right here, this is a guy who was a Stanford professor for the longest time, didn't have anything near the kind of popularity and the fame that he has right now. He's a household name, okay? And also, good-looking guy, older. He is the archetype of the guy that women of that age bracket, of that demographic, would love to marry. Their ship has come in. Their prince in shining armor has finally come in, and they want to believe in the fairy tale, just like the women on Tinder Swindler wanted to believe in the fairy tale. So now you've got this guy who he's Hercules, for fuck's sake. I mean, he's a demigod, and he's got these 6 women. The only thing he fucked up on is he just should have been above board with
Just told the truth.
He just should have just told the truth.
The thing is,
this is me, and this is how I like to live my life.
But maybe he did tell the truth.
He could have. I think the issue is, well, sometimes when guys will do this, I'm not talking about him specifically, but in general, guys will say, I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with you, because they don't want you, the girl, to sleep with other guys. No, they want other guys to sleep with you, right? So it's like, it's one thing to date 6 women. I mean, we all know a fucking male stripper or VIP host in the city has dated 6 women at the same time. The issue is, in those cases, they're not pretending like well, actually they are. I'm sorry, it's a bad example.
I was going to say the other part of this is that he probably went from zero to hero, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's what I call too young, too much, too young, too fast, right? Now, is he too young? It's not about being youthful. It's you're new to this newfound fame, right? So if you take, for instance, you look at, like, say, Dr. Jordan Peterson. Before 2017, he was just this obscure professor at the University of Ontario or Toronto, wherever he was at, probably making about $80,000 to $100,000 a year in his teaching position in Canada, and goes from that to making $80,000 a month on Patreon alone. Sells out worldwide. He's probably worth $8 or $10 million right now. Goes from nothing, from zero to hero. Too much, too young, too fast. And what happens? He carries on his benzo addiction and becomes sort of a basket case, has to go to rehab, has to reinvent himself afterwards because he's not ready for the fame. He's not ready for, he's taking his old way of thinking and his old order mentality into, now I've got $10 million. So if you apply the same sort of dynamic to Andrew Huberman, the guy is a Stanford, it's still very high status, don't get me wrong, but not as high status as he is now, on the cover of freaking New York Magazine, right? So you've got a guy who probably still is in his head thinking, I want to do things the right way. Well, the right way is to date one woman at one time, and that's it, right? Just one monogamous, perfect world, right? Well, then he realizes, I'm Andrew fucking Huberman. I can have this chick too. Oh, and this one, and on down until I got 6 of them, and I'm trying to spin 6 plates at the same time.
I don't even think it's I can have this one too. I think it's more like he's never experienced. I just don't think ladies understand. Maybe you would. Maybe if your dream actor came to you while you were in a committed relationship and you could just get away with it and nobody would know. But imagine that times 17, because men have all this fucking testosterone, and I just don't think people understood. So I can actually understand 1 or maybe 2. If he actually was lying to all 6, that's a foul. But the thing is, it's still nobody's business. Anybody? You Cosmo?
I mean, Rolo, you opened so many points for me right now.
Variety is the spice of life.
I'm honestly very confused on how this is even talked about right now, because I don't think it's subtle at all, and I think, like what Mike was saying, is a hit case. It's very obvious, and I think it's clickbait. And I'm still confused on what he actually did wrong. I'm sorry if I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, in the story,
so
he's
telling
multiple
women, right?
Yeah, he's saying, you're my girlfriend, you're my girlfriend, you're my girlfriend.
He's future forecasting with 6 individual girls.
Right, and I think you nailed it. It's very, like, what is he doing wrong? The only thing that he did wrong was try to be very discreet and try to, social conformity. Be like, this is what people perceive me as, so I'm going to go ahead in this direction. What Tony Robbins did was genius when he dropped that documentary, I'm Not Your Guru. I thought it was a brilliant move for him to tell people, I'm not fucking perfect. I'm not your guru. Yeah. There is a sense of freedom of just being like, okay, this is not like I'm a human being. And like what Mike was saying, I'm teaching you how to do all these things. What does it have to do with my dating life? I feel like what his PR team is doing right now is absolutely genius. Don't respond. Let the people respond on how you're going to be perceived. If you are as good as you think you are and you're helping people like Mike Sartain, Roller, you're going to do a podcast, you're going to spend 30 minutes talking about it, defending him. Therefore, I think it's genius what he's doing. The fact that he hasn't reacted, they haven't done any statements, is a great move. Mike, if somebody comes up to me and says, I hate your red hair, how am I going to react?
I'd be like, bro, what are you talking about?
Like, I'm not going to have no reaction.
Like,
I have no red hair.
It's so ridiculous.
I think how he's reacting right now is perfect.
Yeah.
It's go ahead, talk your shit, and if I help people, then let them talk for me. And that's the move he's doing right now.
Yeah, I'm just really interested because the people who are defending him are not on the same side of the aisle that the academics at Stanford are. So I'm curious, like, how that whole thing is going to work. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Only thing that I'm going to touch on is I agree with everything that you guys are saying. If he's not really doing anything abusive or anything, that's his business to handle. No one expects him to be the most perfect person on the planet. What I will say is, how many times have you heard a woman come out in the more recent years, oh, this happened with this person, but they couldn't say anything, and they couldn't give full details. Nickelodeon, Epstein, a lot of stuff kept coming out little by little, so you don't know if this is going to turn into one of those things.
Sure.
This was a little tiny bit that they could give at the moment, but they were too scared of what might happen in the future. That's the only thing that I would say keep your eye on. Other than that, it's not anyone's business what happens with his dating life. It sucks if he's that kind of person, but it's not front page of the fucking news worthy, that's for sure. And to try and knock down all the good he's done, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, it doesn't mean that he should not be like kept under under an eye's watch, because it's been in history already that women have said, hey, this is happening, and another girl say, hey, this is happening, and everyone's like, oh, shut up, oh, just, you don't want your 15 minutes of fame, and it comes out that these are really abusive, nasty people behind closed doors.
Here's the thing. I agree, and let's just say hypothetically everything in there is true, then they need to file a civil suit. I'm still not in favor.
You don't know what was said to them to
Right.
make them scared and not come forward. You don't know what was done. You don't know what
Got it.
was
Okay.
like.
That's
Some
fair.
people are
That's fair.
fear
You
for
don't know.
their families or
That's
for
fair. You don't know.
themselves. You don't know.
Okay. You want to do the Mac and Murphy one?
Let me get to Super
And
Chats.
if we don't know, that's why we
Because the
should
Mac and
talk
Murphy one,
about
I picked that one just for Jesse. Oh,
jeez.
What?
I got Lewis for $9.99. Thanks. Women can be degenerates with a roster, but a scientist that does the same is crossing the line. Get the fuck out of here. Eric, thanks for that $9.99. That said nothing. And let's see. Eric Trumbull, should false accusers go to jail?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Hashtag Amber Heard.
I disagree. They should be charged with the crimes and the punishment that would have been applied to the guy that they are falsely
Do you know? Like we have it right in the UCMJ
Law of Hammurabi.
No, the Universal Code of Military Justice, Uniform Code of Military Justice. If you accuse an officer or your commanding officer of a crime and you do not have evidence, you go to jail. I really wish we did this in relationships and with other stuff like this. It'd be absolutely incredible. Instead, you have to like spend $50,000 a month on defamation attorneys to try to maybe get somebody to stop talking shit about you.
I know
For
this
sure.
happened a while ago, but what do you guys think about what Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp? Because for so many years, Johnny Depp was the devil.
Yep.
Like he couldn't get
Crazy.
any.
And
He couldn't get anything. So like
Based
now,
off of what I saw on that documentary, he's just as abusive as they're both two nutbags.
But she said he hit her. There's no evidence at all that she like recanted a bunch of her stuff, and they threw it out in trial. Like nothing she said was true, and she was taking a doo-doo on his fucking bed, and then she was also fucking diagnosed with borderline personality disorder.
But you gotta love.
She was?
You gotta love Johnny Depp in court, though.
No, it was the best. It was so entertaining.
No. My favorite thing of the whole Johnny Depp trial was this: is when they go, Mr. Depp, is it true that you were drinking whiskey before noon? Who the fuck didn't know that Captain Jack Sparrow was drinking whiskey before noon? Am I supposed to not like him now?
Yo.
That's fucking Johnny Depp. You're dating a drug addict. What? It's not.
Come on, he's a pirate of the Caribbean. Like,
but I just
did you
don't
not
care.
know what you signed up for?
Again, like it's like we just let
Jesus
certain
Christ.
people. We just like all I'm saying is the Amber Heard thing, dude. If you read Elon Musk's biography, Amber Heard is like 10 out of 10 on the fucking loony
date
bin.
her?
Yes,
I have I have a very close friend that dated her and never backed down, and she's shout out to Amber Heard, but she's been like this for a while. For the ladies here, I'm curious if you are trying to accuse your spouse, and I'm just like. Let's see if I'm off here. Do you find it, hypothetically speaking, do you find it a little bit odd if before we start arguing, I put my phone down here, and then I go, hey, you're Puerto Rican and you're crazy, and by the way, and I start going off, and then and then trigger you, right? I mean, do you guys find it kind of weird that the camera was set up?
Yeah.
And then when you see the
when
video,
you have abuse happen to you enough times and you know it's coming and you're gonna need proof of it, I think that's when you start.
That's true.
Jesse, you're right, but not in this case.
But hold
you're right, but not in this
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know?
Hold on. I feel like we're.
That is
hold
true.
on,
How do you
hold
know?
on. If you're framing the camera and you're literally, it's on YouTube, and Johnny Depp is like not reacting at all, and you see the woman like triggering him to get crazy,
Like taunting him.
like
digging at his scab.
taunting him.
Yep.
At what point do we go? Wait a minute, hold on. This is kind of off.
No, that's not okay in general. Just to kind of
I mean, that's a form of narcissistic abuse. Is
But
the
you
reactive.
also don't know
poke the
because
bear and
you
get a
weren't
reactive.
there. No
Oh,
matter
absolutely.
what, the bottom line is you still don't know. It could be a game back and forth that they've played before. You know what I mean? To where he makes her delete
their version of foreplay.
you know? And then it could be one time where she's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not deleting it this time. Like, you don't know because you weren't there. So anyone talking about anyone's business is bullshit.
Recording
Get out of
someone
it.
after you
Boring.
poke the bear
On
is
to
reactive
the next.
abuse. It's part of a narcissistic tactic.
Real quick, CHD, Rolo, Mike, check out Culture Club USA. DeBrava supports our content. A few of her viewers are visiting too. Shout out to the Homesteading Homies, and also another one to Renstadt Nimbalker. Welcome. Question for the ladies: Who is your favorite role model in your life other than your mom? This will tell a lot about what kind of path these ladies are on. W. Rollo, W. Sartain, Free Top G.
Cool.
Anybody have a role model?
Reeves. Role model.
Who?
Oh,
Keanu
yes.
Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Anybody?
Alicia Keys.
Me?
For sure.
Anybody else? Alicia Keys?
Yes.
Anybody else?
Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra? Okay.
Yes. She has been my girl since MTV's Singled Out days. And as I was younger watching her, I was like, you know what? That's the kind of woman I want to become. And I feel like I fucking nailed it.
There you
and
go.
now we're
Electra Barbie.
now we're like friends on Instagram, and like my goal is to like do a photo shoot with her. Like it's gonna happen. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Like I love her.
My hero is Dave Navarro.
I love this.
My hero is Dennis Rodman. All right. You want to go with that next one? That's up with the
I got
one?
hold on. I got another one here. Lewis says, maybe Huberman gave his best years to an ungrateful woman whom he outgrew, and now he's finally finding himself. I don't know if that's necessarily true because I don't know anything about his personal life.
If it is or it isn't, like the point is, like I'm not saying if you're deceiving other people, it's still wrong. Please understand. I'm not saying that's not wrong. My point is, it should be first front page news. You guys understand?
Yeah.
Oh, your husband, he left the toilet up and took a big old dump. Front page news. No, it's not. That's not front page news.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, you lied about your taxes. Really? I mean, maybe. But the thing is, if I'm sitting purporting myself as I'm Joel Osteen and I'm dating 6 women at the same time, that should be front page news.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's the difference. Okay, go ahead.
I got one last one here. Mark Walks says, just a simple word search of the article. Abuse or abusive or even abu doesn't appear once in the article.
Okay, that sounds about right. I don't remember anything about abuse in the article. But
Cool.
Okay.
Mac and Murphy?
Yes, do the Mac and Murphy. This is for you, Jesse. Ready?
What would you say are the 3 clear signs that a man may cheat on his partner?
A lot of these are quite depressing, but one of them is just family history. Infidelity runs in families. There is evidence that it is partially under the influence of genetics, like most behaviors. Genes code for proteins and regulatory molecules, and those proteins and regulatory molecules make up and run your brain, right? So it's not surprising that genes have some impact on behavior, and it seems that it has some impact on a person's individual likelihood of pursuing infidelity. So I'm not saying that you should be punitive about this. Plenty of people whose dads cheat don't cheat themselves, but in terms of just red flags, it's like, if you know a guy's dad cheated, it's like, well, he's more likely to himself, probably. More likely than someone whose dad was, the epitome of faithfulness. And a lot of people take that as a very controversial thing to say, but the data supports it.
Family history is the first red flag. Second one?
What are their actual sexual inclinations? There's this concept in psychology known as sociosexuality, which is essentially a person's propensity to engage in uncommitted mating. If someone really enjoys sleeping with people who they just met, one-night stands and things like that, and doesn't want to or need to be in love in order to have a passionate sexual relationship with somebody, those sorts of people are going to be more inclined towards unfaithfulness.
Interesting.
And you might think, oh, that's kind of peculiar, but it's really not when you think about the fact that most infidelity is, to some degree, uncommitted mating. And both of these factors that I've mentioned, we're talking about men, both of these apply to women as well.
Okay. So, what do you guys think about this concept of cheating come from genetics? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's not genetics,
No.
but it's the sample that it's the example that was set for you.
So I kind of see it the same way you do, and hopefully Mackin has said he's going to come here in the summer and I'll have him on the show. I'm curious if maybe in genetics, is it a neurochemical genetic?
Well, your brain operates like your parents' brain.
But could it be this? Could it be the dude who's super fucking horny has a son who's super fucking horny? Could it be hormonal instead of being neurochemical, or could it be a mix of both? I don't know. I don't have a narrative.
My mother's nothing like me.
Yeah. What do you think about this?
I think it asks the wrong question, to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
The reason for this is because everything, well, sorry, Mac, but everything that I hear from like guys like Mackin or Alex from Date Psych or the rest of these guys, it's all predicated on one thing. It's a committed monogamous relationship, okay? We know in the 21st century now we have multiple models of relationships. Like you are in a non-traditional relationship right now. I am in a traditional relationship. Yes. Okay. Then you've got like say Justin Waller is in a different relationship than you are. Is he a cheater? Is Huberman a cheater? And does he have the cheating gene because he was nailing 6 chicks and he just kept it under wraps? Or is is there something about his genetic makeup that makes him want to keep it under wraps? Whereas a guy like, and I hate, sorry, Justin, but a guy like Justin, who is non-exclusive, has one main woman, and then can go play the field, right? Is that because right now I think one of the things that we're really focusing on that is like to our detriment is we're trying to say, well, what is going to facilitate this socially enforced monogamous thing that we used to have in the 20th century, and how come we can't get back to that today? That's the wrong fucking question to ask.
But I don't think that's what he's trying to propose.
No, but
here.
everything is premised on that being a goal state rather than like, well, are guys horny? Well, we can probably find out. Do you have the horny gene, or are you a guy that fucks, or are you a guy that doesn't fuck? We can probably find a gene or a combination of genes that would predispose a guy to do that.
So one of the things is I had a viral.
Is it the cheating gene? No, it's in the context of societal. This is cheating and this is not.
Could cheating be a combination of super horny and super deceitful? And could the deceitful part be a neurochemical response and the horny part be a hormonal response? And could both of those things be genetic, or neither? Or one or the other, and that's the question I would ask. It could be a combination. But the thing is, the other part about the inclination, I went viral for posting a clip, the GSS clip, when we went on the Saucecast, where I talked about women who cheated in a relationship had, on average, 230% more sexual partners than women who didn't cheat. And the part that I left out was, yes, men are the same way, and that's one of the things I wanted to point out here, because one of the main criticisms, I went on Bree Hunter's show, I've talked to some other people, is that they act like we don't criticize men. And so that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to.
That's all we do.
I know. Yeah. There's one reason why I wanted to point this out. He's right. Men, if you date a guy with a 700 body count, he is more likely to cheat. So sorry, I know they may make some of you mad. Surprise! Shocking. Now, but here's the problem. The way Mackin describes it, guys, people who are more likely to have sex, hot, passionate sex without a romantic engagement, that's called college. Like, I just don't know many dudes who, if they had the ability in their 20s and 30s to have non-attachment sex, wouldn't have a lot of that, but that doesn't make them bad people, and I'm not sure that makes them more likely to cheat. But here's the thing. There's the men who want to cheat and can, and then there's the men who want to cheat and can't, and that's most men. So I just think it's a little bit more complicated discussion than that.
Is there any of you in an open relationship right now? Have you ever?
Open.
Exactly.
No.
I know. Like,
because everyone defines it differently.
Okay,
Define open.
I understand what you're.
Threesome thrower.
Threesome thrower.
Not open.
Okay.
Simply a mutual interest in women that we occasionally will bring
21st
home.
Century love.
Occasionally bring home.
That's
Not
crazy.
open for you to do whatever the fuck you want and me to do whatever the fuck you want. Only some mutual within each other's presence.
That's such a crazy, radical way of dating women. That's so crazy and radical. High five.
Since you guys are the only ones I can pick on right here.
Yeah.
I've asked this question before, but if you're in an open relationship or a polygynous relationship,
It's not polygyny.
what constitutes cheating?
Anything that your partner doesn't know about or you have to hide.
Exactly.
Anything that has to be hidden that's not agreed upon is a cheat. Even a text message from someone that's not supposed to be talking.
So it is based on the arrangement that you have with your partner.
Yes.
Right.
So you could still be in a position where it's like you and your man can bring other women into the thing as long as you're all
Why,
above
is anyone
board.
interested?
Right.
Anybody like both
I can't wait for you to sit next to Mackin. That's actually what I want.
So by the 20th century definition of cheating, every time you bring a woman into your bed and your man sleeps with her, that constitutes cheating, according to the guys who are talking about, do you have a cheating gene? Do you not have a cheating gene? No, I have a fucking gene. That's what I have, and I like to fuck, okay? And my dear old dad, he liked to fuck, and my granddad, he really liked to fuck, too. And
I like to fuck 3.
Yeah, you're a generational fuck. Got it, thanks. No, I was just going to say is that the entirety of this is it asks the wrong fucking question. It's like, are you the guy that likes to fuck, or are you not the guy that likes to fuck? The guy that does is probably going to be the one who's not going to be in a traditionally closing her end, closing on your end relationship.
If you can find partners that will go along with that.
Right.
But it's a lot easier these days because of social media.
So
I think if you're in the top 15%, it is.
So cheating is based on your individual arrangement. It's not about like whether you have a fucking gene for it or not.
I think also it depends on your external and environmental influence around you as well.
Yeah.
Like if you have a bunch of friends that are like, no, we're so against it's this. Like eating healthy, you're around a bunch of people that eat healthy. You'll be like more inclined to do that. If you're around of like that other type of group and people and they all get away with it and they tell each other and they all cover for each other, and you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because all of our friends are not traditional.
Not traditional.
Well,
not traditional.
You know, if you have a group of friends and your friends start getting divorced,
happy birthday, Claudia.
If your friends start getting divorced, the likelihood of you getting divorced actually goes up.
Well, this is what I was telling you guys in the last session, that when you surround yourself, like if a girl's single and she surrounds herself with married women, she ends up finding a good man like later on.
So I think what we're saying is Mackin is correct, but there could be environmental and genetic reasons, and those genetic reasons could be a combination of hormonal and neurochemical. There's neurochemical reasons why somebody may want to be more deceitful. That may be something you pass down genetically.
Exactly, what they saw in their childhood from their parents doing.
But the issue is this: the only place where I take umbrage is this: is that a normal guy, if he was given the option of being able to have a lot of sex with women and it was unattached, and he's maybe in his early 20s, a lot of men are going to take that, and they're not narcissists, and they're not more likely to cheat. I just don't think that. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm wrong about this.
It's the dick talking.
What I'm saying is it's talking. Yes. I just think what I'm saying is, in Dr. Buss's 37 culture study, every single one of those 37 cultures was the men were more interested in casual sex than the women. And one of the things we have to understand is that lying is bad. Men being interested in casual sex isn't bad. Lying is bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the difference. That's the only distinction I would like to make. But I definitely agree with him that people, if you have a father that cheats, more likely to have the son that cheats. If the studies say that, I absolutely believe that.
Him bringing home women all the time and sneaking them in.
Monkey see, monkey kill.
For sure. But the thing about if you're at a friend group and someone gets divorced, you're more likely to get divorced. Absolutely true. Yeah, for sure. Awesome.
Are you aware of any incidents of guys who were not on TRT or weren't taking testosterone?
What's
and then they
TRT?
Testosterone replacement therapy.
And then they started taking it, and then they cheated on their wives.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. That's a really interesting one.
So, because the reason why I'm saying this is because if we're just going to peg it to genetic markers and stuff like that, well, I don't know if the studies have been done, but are there any studies of guys who went from low T to high T, and then they were you know what?
Because now they're
I'm going to promise you there's a small chance it's a neutral correlation.
Or they got hotter and more girls are noticing.
So that she already cut me off. That's exactly right. Exactly. So either there's a neutral correlation or there's going to be a positive correlation, because these men have smaller waists, bigger muscles, and harder penises. Yes, I have to say, the likelihood of them cheating is going to increase because
and they
of TRT.
feel good.
I just don't see how the likelihood of them cheating would decrease if they are on TRT. So yes, it's probably a good point.
Because we also know that testosterone declines after marriage, and then after divorce, it increases again because of environment, as you were saying before. So.
And they probably feel like they're a playboy now, and they've got before they had nothing, and now they've got success and money, and
they're getting positive reinforcement from women that they didn't get.
One more time, if a guy who was not famous then becomes famous and gets a ton of attention from women, and during that time period he wants to have sex with no attachment. That isn't weird to me.
No,
that seems super
it's normal
to me, and it doesn't. To me, I don't know if that's inclination that he may want to cheat.
You should have sex with lots of people because that's how you get good at it.
Okay, here we go. Congratulations.
And I'm a professional.
Right, now we went in one direction. Let's go in another direction.
Can I ask something?
Go ahead, Aria.
It might seem silly, but I'm actually very curious. If you guys really like fucking a lot of women, what's the determining factor for you to decide to get into a relationship?
Or why get married?
Okay, so
get married and a relationship.
So what will happen is, especially if you have a lot of experience with a lot of women, and a lot of them were just my friends, and some of them I was dating, and regardless, just meeting a lot of women. I used to manage a strip club for a while, hundreds and hundreds of women. What I'd start to see was certain patterns that led to them either being bad in relationships or a bad relationship with me, and then certain patterns that were good. Watching my grandparents together for 75 years and my parents together for 44 years, watching that, I was like, these things seem to work. Being honest, you can ask me how I feel. You can't tell me how I feel. We don't attack each other. We don't exaggerate when we're discussing certain things. when you do those kind of things, that's what I found to be the best. With Kylie, it was just a situation where, woke up one day, my apartment was clean. She wanted to take care of me. She wanted everyone to know that we were together. There was none of that. She's from Southwest Arkansas. It was like she was a different species of woman than what I was used to here in Las Vegas, and that's why I would choose. Remember, you said something about can I be faithful to this woman?
Yeah, my whole thing, everybody was asking me, like, when you met your wife, like, what did you vet for? I wasn't nobody vets, okay? But,
for sure.
But when it came down to it, and I was like, the only vetting that happened was with myself. So it's like, can I be faithful to this person is really the first question I asked, because I know me, I've seen me do it, right? I've been the cheater and I've been the cheated as well. So that was my first question.
Sure.
Do I enjoy having sex with this woman so much so that I know that I'm not going to stray, right? Yeah, get tired of it, or also that because I understand maybe in my 28-year-old brain at that time was thinking, I understand the fallout between people who like they get married, they have sex, or they're really into it, and then afterwards it falls off, and then the damage that happens after that. And it's not just between the two people; it happens to the kids, it happens to the families, it happens to the dog, it happens to
the dog.
Yeah, it happens to the
cat.
Yeah, who's taking what, right? Your finances and everything. You think about the importance of selecting someone for the rest of your life. You're betting your future family on that, and your family that you have right now, your extended family. For instance, I take care of my mother-in-law, who is not my mother, my mom, it's her mom. So there are are you going to? People don't think of these things when they're 28 years old,
when they're in the moment,
and they're she's a hot piece of ass. Sex is the glue that holds a relationship together. After that, you have to start thinking like in
everything
grand strategy. People don't think, am I going to be taking care of her ailing, elderly parents, because I'm the one that can do that. I have the ability to do that, right? Am I going to be taking care of her kids from a previous marriage? Not that it was my situation, but you might have to have somebody say, well, do I want to take care of this woman's kids? That has to factor into it as well. And can I stay faithful to this person? Is where all of those questions start. If you can't say that in the beginning, all the rest of it is
And do you still
shot.
love them when they're sick and injured
Exactly.
and stuff like that? Because every
Exactly.
time that I've had major injuries, they've left.
Did you guys see the article about?
Wait. I'm so sorry. Hold on. But what was the determining factor of being like, I want to lock this person down forever?
So once you get past the sex thing, once you're like, do I enjoy having sex with her? Yes. Can I be faithful to her? Yes. The thing that made me like really lean that way, let's just say, is that she has a gift for insight, meaning that like she understands like when she has done something wrong and will like apologize for it. Just like I don't even know.
Yeah, she acknowledges.
I'm like, you didn't say anything wrong to me, and she will acknowledge stuff like that. It's a self-awareness kind of thing. That's important. The other thing is genuine compassion, which is I usually put it in these terms. Have you ever had like when I'm talking to guys, I'll say, have you ever had a woman who will buy you a birthday present, and it's a present that you didn't know that she knew something about you, right? Like your favorite sports team or some like nerdy hobby that you have. Like she buys you some magic card or some shit like that. You didn't even have the conversation that was your hobby, but she found it out because she took that much insight and that much interest in you to find that, to dig that out of your friends or somebody else around you, and and have the desire, the genuine desire to do that for you. That's the last thing, is genuine desire. It can't be obligation. It has to be out of, I genuinely want to be with this guy. And I usually use the Ryan Gosling, Eva Mendes example here. Eva Mendes said she never wanted to have kids in her life. Never, ever wanted to have kids at all until she met Ryan Gosling, and now she wants to have his babies. I want to be with a woman who wants to have my babies, not my biological clock is ticking and it's time for me to have kids and you'll do, right? Fuck that. That's obligation. Genuine desire is, I want to have babies, but I want to have his fucking babies because he's the guy that I really want to be with and I have genuine desire for. Genuine desire defines everything else from that point.
Thank you.
You're nice.
Have you guys seen the video? This woman and this man were married for 11 years. He gets into a really terrible car accident. He's paralyzed from the neck down, can't do anything. She proceeds to take care of him for a year or two and then divorces him and then marries somebody else and adopts her ex-husband as their child together so they can take care of him together.
That's
so
crazy.
he's still there, but allowing her to still have a quality of life.
There is a really.
I'm so. Wait, what? Okay,
that's
weird.
There is a really weird joke I want to make about the chair, the extra chair in the hotel room. You know what I'm talking about? You guys know what that chair is called? We can't say it on YouTube.
Watcher?
The watcher chair. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Now, after all of that, after giving you all this information, I want to hear one motherfucker say, "Oh, they never talk about relationships or any of this." We
talk about relationships every time.
No, I know. I get this. All of those red pill guys never talk about. Fuck off.
No, red pill guys don't know how to listen. That's why.
We talk.
Let's do. You want to do the Austin Dunham one? I think this one's pretty controversial.
Another video.
I don't know what that means, but it was funny.
Something about our headphones, right?
Yeah, first off, a couple things. You guys should follow Mac and Murphy. He's got a lot of great data. And number two, Rolo, you need to unblock him on Twitter.
I already did.
Okay, good.
Did someone send you $1,000 comment?
Yeah, and it wasn't $1,000, but it's 1,000 something.
1,000 cents?
Yeah, we'll go over it in a little bit. Yeah, looks like 1,000 rupees.
Is it this? I think it's this one.
Here's how much it costs to have an attractive girlfriend. Weekly dates, $200 or $800 a month, or $10,000 a year. Quarterly vacations, $2,000 or $8,000 a year. Holiday and birthday gifts, $5,000 a year. Miscellaneous, nails, shopping, whatever it may be, about $3,000 a year. All in total, about $26,000 a year. So if you're making $50,000 a year after taxes, you probably couldn't even afford to keep an attractive woman within your life. At least without her being miserable. In fact, she may even cheat on you with a baller. And if you're curious, we can actually put that to the test. Just go to limitless-attraction.com to get a loyalty test from me. Now DM your girl on Instagram to see if she'll go out with a guy like me. And we'll both see if she's really loyal.
That's hilarious. I love it.
All right, so shout out to Austin Dunham. Austin was on my show yesterday, and men pay him to message their girlfriends to see if
Girls
they're
did
faithful.
it first on TikTok.
Oh my
Girls have been doing that for 5, 6, 7 years.
For sure. Definitely. What do you guys think about that? 26,000. Here's an opinion to that.
I think that's hilarious.
I mean,
love it.
You guys were all kind of laughing at the same time, but was he talking about her nails and he was paying for all that stuff?
$3,000 a year.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, I don't.
How do I find a man that pays for my shit? Because I know I'm expensive. That's why
it's just like
the only thing you gotta come at me with is some good tea.
I feel like the maintenance of her was expensive, but then the vacation aspect was low. Who goes on a $2,000 vacation? That's the hotel in itself. Like that's flights.
I mean, it can be. I mean, I feel like
unless you're driving somewhere and the $2,000 is only for food and hotel, the
26,000 is too low.
No problem.
No. The $2,000 vacation dollar budget is what was too low.
Okay, who here has been in your most recent relationship? Your boyfriend spending more than $26,000 a year on you? Yeah.
I have never had a boyfriend in my entire life ever buy anything for me. The one time was my first boyfriend that I dated for 5 years, and he bought me a KitchenAid mixer, and that's the one thing I wanted. And then when we broke up, he fucking took it back.
Expensive.
They're like, he took it back. He took it back. That was the only gift I've ever gotten from. That's the only fucking thing I've ever gotten from him.
Wanted to get me an Uber, but I had no car for 2 months.
I'm just curious. So does anybody here raise your hand if you think 26,000 is too high?
To spend a year?
Anyway, 2,000.
It doesn't matter. It's rational to what you can expect. Like it depends on your relationship.
Still can't get over that men pay for the women.
His point was that a lot of men who can't afford 26,000 can't afford to have an attractive girlfriend.
Because they want the hot girls.
Austin lives in Miami, I believe.
They want don't try to date the Victoria's Secret models and the IG baddies that are used to men that pay for their car, men that pay for their apartment.
More than $26,000 a year.
But I'm saying is like if you're reaching for the start.
Huh?
Yeah. But some girls are also naturally beautiful, and they also don't need to do a lot to themselves. Like they just naturally have those supermodel looks. They naturally
$200 for nails is crazy. And
maybe she does.
That's me. That's what I pay. But my girl is amazing.
Don't know, and everyone finds attractive different.
And they last. And let me tell you, she's worth every fucking cent.
100%. Every 2 or 3 weeks, you're paying $200.
No, they last a month and a half.
What? Nice. With no growth.
Your nails?
Well, no, but it's the way she blends it.
So you don't see it.
No,
she puts HGH on the nails.
No, whatever she does,
can we show this next one? All right, guys, I want you to think: is this controversial? What you hear?
I just want to say that $26,000 is way too low.
That's what I was trying to get
say.
that point.
I don't drink, so I save you a lot of money.
Amber, is it too low?
See, look,
I think like nickel and diming and then budgeting for your girlfriend is fucking wild.
Yeah, but there has to be an average. The math has to work out somewhere.
So you just like do the math in your spare time.
But you should.
Keeps a notepad of every dollar you spend
pounds on her.
And then at the end of the year, you tell your girlfriend that you're madly in love with, like, this is how much I spend on you every year.
Here's the problem. I'm trying to put a down payment on a house. I would be kind of nice to know. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd have to sit down and do my own budget.
Can I throw out like a caveat here? Is like, yeah, if you're basing everything on transactions, sure. But like, I will tell you right now, when I was in my 20s, I had women buy me drinks and buy me shit, give me a car,
but when I'm in a relationship, I'm also like,
and I had a lot of friends I had a lot of friends in the Hollywood like metal scene or like singers for bands and shit like that. These guys were broke as fuck, and they had some pretty hot women buying them a lot of fucking things.
Oh yeah.
It's just if your game's not that good, I don't know what to tell you.
There you go.
Is this the one? This is the one. Right?
All right. Is this controversial to you, ladies?
So he knows I'm going to lunch. He knows
you're going to lunch.
He knows my vibe. He knows how I like to move, and he only sent $30.
Yeah. I'm not going to bend over backward for a man that is just sending whatever he can, or, you know, if he's not going to be my boyfriend, number one, but if I'm talking to him, next time I'm out and he says, oh, you need something for lunch, I'm going to tell him, it's okay, somebody already sent me $100. So he know that you want that job. Yeah, you got to, because it's better, like you said.
Okay, if we're being completely honest, right here, right now, we've all eaten lunch for $30.
Yes,
let's start 100%. Wait, cute little cafe spot, baby.
I'm getting lunch for $17. I'm going to snap us to get something popping, but
we're not saying that we're ungrateful.
Right.
Food is food on the table. However, you know what the standard is.
Correct.
Me in that situation, handling it with grace. Thank you so much, baby. I'm so appreciative. I'm gonna still take a picture of that bill and I'm gonna send it to him. Thank you for the 30. That was the tip.
Exactly.
You know, what's up?
Also, men, if you know that you cannot give $30 or if it's hard for you to give, then you need to date within
Don't
your.
date.
You can't date with the woman that number one does not have that expectation, or number two, it's in that range that will love and adore that $30. Will save that $30. Will frame that $30. Will bathe with that $30. Will masturbate with that $30. Be with that woman, because it is a woman out there that will appreciate it and that will love it. But do not try to.
Where's the lie, though? Date in your bracket. If you can't afford a supermodel, then don't date a supermodel. If you know that the girl that you're seeking or that the girl that you are chasing after has had nothing but billionaire boyfriends before you,
can I say something?
She's going to be used to the billionaire boyfriends before you, and she's going to want that treatment. So don't chase after that girl.
Dating is like betting on a dog race.
I gotta say something.
But who just sends money to somebody for lunch without going with them?
Go.
I mean, I've seen it done.
If you do it, then who gives a fuck? It's free money.
It's sweet, yeah.
Like, you don't have to do shit.
It's actually the thought that counts. At the end of the day, it's the thought.
Send me shit.
Exactly.
Apparently, they aren't worth anything if you ain't meeting them for it.
It's all great.
Who gives a damn?
I was gonna say, like, when you love someone, it's something totally different. You know, and if you really love this person, and these are the standards that you set for your life. If you love this person, you're choosing to keep this person around, and you know that they don't have the money and you want these expensive dates, then you gotta get it how you live. You gotta hustle for that. Like one thing I gotta say about this generation that I don't agree with, like, I do believe in the 50-50. I believe that women should meet their man halfway if they want a bigger house. If they want more cars, they want more of this, they want more of that. If they're not happy with the means that your man can provide, then find a different man. Don't marry that man. But you can't give a man an expectation like, oh, you have to go make this kind of money because I'm a bad bitch. Like, no, you're a stupid bitch.
No, it comes down to the exact same thing that him and I talked about earlier. Your marriage and your relationship is set up the way that you agreed to it. Mm-hmm. You don't try to date someone who wants to be 50-50 if you are not of the mindset of 50-50. Right. So it's just date within. Nothing that she said at the end was wrong. Date within your bracket. Date what you could afford. Date what you're both
just
mutually
don't date at all.
agreed about.
It's not right. It's not right or wrong. Those women are red flags, like fucking minefield in Afghanistan in 1983.
But no, to somebody they are the epitome.
Those women are just going to drag. Just my opinion. Those women are going to drag chaos into your life. That the fact they're even having this discussion and being this petty. Go ahead.
I really feel like we're not even talking about one of the biggest qualities right now, which is location. We're undermining what cities are we talking about? Are we talking about Miami?
Oh, it's Miami. Let's just make it $100 in Miami, whatever.
But even when I ran my boot camps teaching guys how to get over social anxiety, Arizona, Scottsdale was very different 9 years ago than it is now.
Yeah.
Now the women caught on. They're more like LA girls. But if you go to like a small city, this is very different. Like the location is everything.
Yeah.
You're interviewing
you can have
women
a nice dinner
that are
for $30
but look at the common thread though. Like where are they
the point
from Miami.
The point wasn't not having a nice dinner. The point was he didn't give me enough money.
Which that's the problem.
He gave
right
her
there.
money, and that's enough,
right?
I mean,
my lunch the other day was $50.
And you ladies are saying this. That's not a red flag. That's a green
amazing.
flag. Being appreciative is a green flag. Not being appreciative is a red flag. I'm sorry.
Definitely.
These ladies are just walking red flags to me. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You go to Nashville, you can have a good time for very cheap and go and do karaoke. But if you're in Miami and you're in Brickell, be prepared to spend at least $1,200 if you're going to a restaurant. So where are you at? And like what you were saying earlier, Rollo, what is the communication? What are the rules of the game? Like what am I getting into? And by no means, if the girl's expectation is like $2,000 or $500,000, I respect that. But then that's not my cup of tea. Like, what is the vibe here?
The bottom line is live within your means.
None of these girls,
communication.
Communication. Okay, fine. But none of all these girls with these really high standards for like, oh, you got to pay me $30, $100, whatever the ticket is, right? Every last one of them would throw those standards right out the window if that guy was 6'1", had a six-pack abs, had a 10-inch cock, and was ready to rock her world in bed. And you know what? Oh, it doesn't matter. He could give me a bag of Skittles, and it wouldn't make a fucking difference.
That's the other difference. If these ladies would be willing to date some other guy who doesn't even send them $30, then if I'm the guy sending the $30, I'm the loser. And that's another thing. Red flag. That's all I'm saying.
Right,
Can we get to this one right here?
Yeah.
Let's see. Which one was that?
William Casella.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
First off, let's all be quiet. William Costello is a Longhorn, and we must show him respect.
I thought the mating crisis was people are not having sex. So we're putting that on the shelf. So if it isn't that, what is the mating crisis?
So the mating crisis can be traced back to an essay my supervisor wrote in 2016. And he talks about this mismatch between women beginning to outpace men in educational settings. Now, when you combine this socioeconomic success of young women in recent decades with their evolved mate preference for an equal or higher status mate, it just simply means that there's a skew in terms of the lack of eligible men that are out there. So those few men at the top that women are interested in are less willing to commit to long-term mating because they're the scarcity and it becomes a problem. So women have a double-edged sword because highly educated women are competing with highly educated women and lower educated women for the same increasingly small pool of men that they're deeming eligible.
Yeah, because you can't define a man by the money in his pocket. I mean, if you fall in love with someone, it doesn't matter if they're rich as hell or broke as hell. And that's, honestly, for me, my mom thinks that's my biggest problem. She's like, yo, you gotta have someone that can meet you where you're at. You know, you can't be taking care.
So do you find this to be an issue that you are at somewhere higher and you find a smaller
I just find like, you know, my ability to like just where I'm at in my life, it is a lot higher. I'm 27 and I'm doing really well for myself.
One thing I do appreciate about this, and again, hook 'em horns, William, is that William is at least saying, you know, one thing I totally agree with is that women want to date at their level or higher. I think that we can establish that. That seems to be offensive to some people, but that is the case. And it doesn't just mean height or looks. It doesn't just mean money. Just in general, women want to date at their level or higher. So if you want to get more educated, if you get a master's degree, women tend to want men who have a master's degree or a PhD. Right. And then when you get to the 100K a year mark, 17% of men make $100,000 a year or more. 17%. That's who you have to choose from. And 14% of men are 6 feet tall. So it's 17% times 14%, which is 2.3% of men are make $100,000 a year and are 6 feet tall or taller. And
I've dated shorter men.
There you go. So it's just my point. It's like what I'm saying
is that in America or is that in the world?
In America. William is spot on with this. It's like as women garner more, they want even more. Yeah. When Rihanna was making hundreds of millions of dollars, she was dating a billionaire. Yeah. Okay, it wasn't like, hey, hey hon, hey boo, I got you. I'll get the ticket. Right. I'll get the car note. No. I'm making $100 million. You need to be a billionaire to date Rihanna. What? Right. Like that's a part. And
that's what we're looking at with the Andrew Huberman story right now. Is like he is a very high status, high value guy with 6 women, apparently, maybe more, that were interested in him. That were supposed to be educated, well-rounded, empowered women who are really on their game and everything. Like, and you don't know that this motherfucker might be with 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 women. You don't. That's not in your head.
There's a 1%, right? There's a 1% in the world, really, that are successful. I mean, that's how I look at it, especially America. It's like a 1%. These parties, these events, LA, it's all really, this world is a lot smaller than you think it is. So you don't know what level, you know, at what party where Rihanna met that billionaire. She probably didn't even know he was a billionaire. Maybe she did. Maybe she knew his brother. Who knows? But
can you imagine all the other girls trying to get at that billionaire that Rihanna had to beat out? And Rihanna could beat out because she's an attractive, talented woman. Right. But my point is, like, the issue that happens and what William is describing here is that if you're a man and these women are competing for you, one of the things that you have going for you as the man is that these women are competing for you. Right. And so now you have a lot of options, and then we go back to the Mac and Murphy thing. Now all of a sudden I have all these options, and I might be more interested in casual sex than women. That doesn't make me weird. The problem is the lying. It's not the...
It's the lying.
The lying. The problem is lying. Yeah, the problem is lying.
Honest about it.
Wanting casual sex in and of itself, like, now in general, is hedonism for hedonism's sake bad? I think Mackin would agree. Homath talked about this, and I would agree too after, you know, experiencing life. Hedonism for hedonism's sake is bad. I just don't think that men being interested in casual sex in and of itself is bad. But in this case, if we're talking about these men, and all of a sudden they have all the top 2.5% of men, the top 10% of men on dating apps get 63% of the right swipes. That is so disproportionate.
There's not a guy.
You want to know something really funny about dating apps?
Yeah.
So I did this the other day because I was really bored. You know, I love Bumble. I was counting my Bumble swipes left
video game for you,
before I went right. I swear to God, my average was 300 lefts before I went one right.
What does that mean? What is Bumble and what is lefts?
Right. It's
lefts
like
means
no.
Right means you want them. I counted them out, and the average was 300 swipes.
I believe, and I may be misquoting this, but some data.
Oh, that you were swiping on people.
Yeah.
Aaron Clary had some data. It was
and
like,
I did this, and I counted it because I was like, dude, how many fucking times were you?
Why were you saying no to all the guys? What was like the big component?
One, physical attraction is my number one.
That's
so
you guys are
dating apps, yo.
On average, men swipe right 55% of the time, and women swipe right about 5% of the time. That's about the way it works. Yeah.
Wow. I will say though, Jessica, right?
Yeah, Jesse.
I mean, I agree with you 100%. I feel like having that relationship where you guys are in love, you're like husband, wife, whatever. I don't know because I don't know you. But then you have interest in women, so you guys come to a mutual agreement and you guys bring a woman home. That's ideal. I mean, for what I think. Because at the end of the day, we're all human and we're not perfect. And we're going to be in our darkness in times, right? And if we're married or we're together, we're going to be in that together. So in those moments, let's decide to do this together. You know what I mean?
Darkness.
I don't see them bringing a girl home as a darkness.
I just mean, and I know
what you mean. Yeah, if you're gonna have your lows, you're gonna have them together. If you're gonna enjoy stuff, enjoy it together.
Exactly.
I get it. Yeah, it's just again, it's the outlines and the parameters that you put in your own relationships, and as long as you're honest with each other, like without any doubt, you have full trust, and you guys can afford. That's the problem, is that some people can't afford to bring a third into the relationship. Right. Some people can't afford to put their toe in that pool because A, they're not mature enough to leave it. Like, okay, it was a one night thing, I'm leaving it alone. They're gonna get someone pregnant, they're not safe, they get caught up.
Get sneaky.
You get you cannot afford to bring something into your relationship, to risk your relationship if your relationship is not solid as it is. Right. So you make a parameter for what you both agree upon. And as long as no one is hiding anything from the other person and you're honest about everything, it works.
And
it's the sneaky part that starts.
Fellas, don't have threesomes unless you have game.
Well,
I think that's what you're saying.
No. Don't have threesomes if you're a 30-second Johnny, because you're not going to disappoint more than one girl at once. That's really fucked up.
When I'm looking at, so once again, when I'm looking at Costello here, again, it's the same thing I get with Mac and Murphy. We're using long-term relationships as the litmus test for whether or not this guy is actually worthy of our time or not. Okay. The fact of the matter is those guys are, if they have the ability to play the field, they're going to fucking play the field. Okay. There's not a guy who's in the lower 80th percentile of guys who are like beta male dudes who wouldn't love to be in exactly that same fucking place, and they would do exactly the same fucking thing if they could get to it, and they would never get married, and they would never.
It's just a very interesting distinction because when you talk about sociosexual, sociosexual women, when they want sex, sex manifests because they're women, and women can get sex easier. There's often a group of men that want to cheat and cannot cheat. There's a group of men who are sociosexual, and then there's a group of men below them that wishes they were sociosexual. Does that make sense? And when you look at, and by the way, I've looked at updated numbers here. Let's just say of the bottom quarter to 20% of men are just not having any luck with women whatsoever. And then we have this median. I forgot is the median 5 and the mean is 15. I think number of sexual partners for a man. And then when we get in the top 5%, it's 50. 0, 5, 50. That's what it looks like.
Like for a lifetime?
Yes, for a lifetime. And then the thing is, but here's the difference. That top 5% of men, it used to be 35. Now it's going up to 50.
Week.
that top, meaning like there's a group of men at the top who are having more sex, but women in general are having the same amount. So, what does that mean? It means a lot more women are having sex with these guys up at the top. It doesn't mean all of them. This whole idea that 80% of women are fucking 20% of men. No one's saying that.
No one knows that.
But 80% of the women are attracted to those 20% of men. They're just not fucking 20% of those men. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration.
I also want to address your point too. Is that Rich Cooper has a saying, which is, women don't care about men's struggles. They only wait at the finish line and they fuck the winners. Basically, I only halfway agree with that. The other half of that equation is that not every woman is going to be one of those women that's waiting at the finish line. Okay. So what they have to do is when they are in, say, between 18 and 28, somewhere in their prime, sometimes when they have the most sexual agency, that's when they have to make a bet on a guy.
Yeah.
A guy who has fucking potential.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, for instance, like when I met my wife, she made more money than I did. I had like a white pickup truck, I had a half stack, and I had a guitar. That's my liquid fucking assets when I was in. And I was competing with guys who were like, she was a medical professional, who were radiologists, ER docs, and everything. And I beat all those motherfuckers out, right? Because I had potential.
Yep.
And that's another. You want to talk about insight? That's part of the insight. So, are you going to get with a guy who's going to be a winner, a winning horse, or who's going to cross
the S?
Who's going to cross the finish line? And you're already in the car with that guy when he crosses the finish line, and it's like, bye, bitches, because I stuck with this guy.
We've been here.
Right.
We know.
So
we built this.
So
together.
you have a shared history
And when you get off, he leave you ask for a white girl.
Exactly.
It's called what?
I don't think I'm allowed to say it on YouTube. Never mind.
But then what about like the Wolf of Wall Street effect, right?
What are you talking about?
The Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, as soon as he made money, the girl that like held him down and even gave him the business idea of the pink slip. And as soon as he saw Margot Robbie, he was like, all right,
and
peace out.
That's why women are that's making that bet and making that, because women's sexual agency and their sexual power decays over time. Exactly what happens. So that's the main
thing
worry.
in that movie is she wasn't doing what he was doing.
Well, the main concern, the main fear is that you're going to invest all of your stuff.
Isn't Jelly Roll a cool story though? Like, aren't they cool?
That's adorable.
Like, isn't that a cool story?
Yes.
The what? Did I hear about that?
Jelly Roll and his wife. Yeah.
Like,
I don't know enough about it, but yeah, that's.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So there's this, I don't know, person in the music industry. I guess it goes by Jelly Roll. I just learned about it
the
recently.
overweight guy with the blonde girl.
The girl that he's with, like.
She's
saw
hot.
The potential
and
she stuck it through and it's just a cute little fucking story.
I mean, like Gucci Mane.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to bring this up because again, we get this criticism on the show that we only attack women. Okay, this is ridiculous. No, I want to say this again. Men are more likely to commit domestic abuse. Men are more likely to commit SA. Men are more likely to commit rape. They're more likely to commit murder. They're more likely to be victims of violent crime. They're more likely to take their own lives. We're aware of these things. Men are more likely to cheat. They are.
You've been saying since I met you that women are.
No, I haven't. I promise you. You know what? You got it on video. I've never said women are more likely to cheat.
Before I have a titty attack, you have said that 100.
Titty attack.
I want to see that. What I said was.
What the?
What I said was.
That's a special attack.
What I said was women were more. What I said was get over here. There are some people in the red pill who think women are more likely to cheat.
I'll hold them.
Like Sadiya Khan believes women are more likely to cheat, and that's her opinion. I haven't seen any data to back that up. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, I totally can see as a woman, it's like you back this one guy. You do so when you're 23 years old. You have to make the most important decision of your life when you're at the youngest part of your life. Does that make sense? You have to make the most important decision, and then you do so, and you make the wrong decision, and now you're kind of screwed.
Live with that.
Exactly.
Which is why I keep saying it doesn't make sense when 50-year-old men want to date a 19, 22-year-old girl and like, oh, I want to lock this girl down because she's young and fertile. But in reality, it's not that. I mean, she doesn't have life experience. She's not going to say no to you. She's going to be more willing to submit to you.
They just want to back off.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
They don't know better.
I know plenty of very manipulative 22-year-old women who are fucking raking it in on OnlyFans while having 3 sugar daddies.
Yeah, but that's
22.
What is the average of that, though?
Listen. I love Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle talked about this. He goes, when I was 15 years old, when I was 15 years old, I was doing stand-up comedy. And I knew the difference if somebody, he was talking about R. Kelly, is like, I knew the difference if somebody wanted to pee on me or not when I was 15 years old. I had a full fucking understanding of what the world was when 15. I'm just like, I know some super advanced 22-year-old women who have game. So this idea, like, I'm not, like, I understand. It's like, as men, we make the decision later on in life. We have a little bit longer of a reproductive lifespan, and women have a shorter one. And so because of that, women have to make the decision sooner, which is biologically unfair. And is it a double standard? Fuck yes, it is a double standard.
But what
and we
makes
never said it wasn't.
awesome, what makes it awesome, though, is that when you go through that, you learn from that, and you grow from that. And then when you do find your person, you know how to act. I mean, it's all about living and learning. You got to go through that. And when you decide to put your foot down as a woman and take care of a man or help bring up a man, or, I mean, that makes you an even stronger woman. And, I mean, we can go back in the Bible. What does it say? We need each other at the end of the day. And we do so much for men. We do, men, who is it? Was it Chris Rock? I think it was Chris Rock.
Man is only faithful as his options.
He said he spent all his money on pussy. He said he's made millions of dollars and he spent all his money on pussy.
Because you went from the Bible to Chris Rock. I was like, what?
And then he said,
I'm lost. I'm lost.
And then he said if he didn't spend it on pussy, he spent it adjacent to pussy. Because
what the fuck does that even mean?
It means he was doing it
for things to get pussy.
It's not literal pussy. But funny. He just meant women and females and just he just.
Sad pussy.
It's comedy. It's comedy. You know what I mean? Moral of the story is, it's like you gotta build with somebody. You gotta.
Are you single?
Yes.
Are you single? You're single. Mm-hmm. We know that. Are you?
That's probably why I'm still single.
Yeah,
Look, I don't want to answer.
She's like,
you know what I mean?
Are you single?
She's like, kinda.
I'm talking to somebody.
I've got several. She's got several under her control.
Do you? Okay, look, for the women who are single at this table, do you think your standards are too high?
No.
No?
She didn't even blink.
No. Your standards are too high.
She said that when she was walking in.
We just had Will Costello saying that your standards are too high.
Fuck no. It depends how you feel. Like, honestly, like, I kind of see it like how your personal relationship is, like, with the person.
Right.
And, like, depending on how you view that person, like, what are your standards for that certain relationship?
I think my standards of getting to know someone is too high. Like, I want to actually get to know you. Like, I have to know.
So you're demisexual.
Demisexual.
I don't know. Demi Lovato.
No, demisexual. Like, it requires, in order for you to be like sexually stimulated with someone, like it requires you getting to know them.
In order for me to climax, I gotta know you.
Right.
Let's switch it up.
I'm single.
My standards.
And on that note,
my standards are where they need to be, because otherwise I would be settling.
I don't know if my standards are too high, to be honest.
No one. Who just said that?
Your standards are your standards. You know what I mean? You set the bar according to what's meant for you. You know what I mean?
Your standards can never be too high.
I just feel like there's somebody that's going to meet them, right?
There's billions
always
of
somebody out
people
there
in this
meet it.
world.
Yeah, there's always...
You create the facade of what it is that you need for you. to be your person, to be your happiest, to be the person you want to become.
So wait, what are your
standards? Not everyone is going to fit that mold, and that's okay. Your ego, because you think somebody's hotter, because you want someone, can try to force somebody to fit that mold. But at the end of the day, it's you who has to determine your standards.
Okay,
and if you settle for less than what you set for yourself, then you're doing yourself
an
injustice.
For instance, if you want to be a housewife,
because that's how it's supposed to be.
Like,
I just don't want to feel like I'm being too greedy, but I also feel like I deserve.
Like, but you have to know, what you want, and you have to know what makes you happy. Like, if you love doing dishes and doing laundry and cleaning up the house and being at the crib and taking care of the kids, and that's your passion and that's what makes you happy, then that's what you need. You need to find you someone that can take care of you so you can go do that.
I think the component don't want. I think the component
wants that in return.
As well. Ego is going to determine
because
what you
hell no, I'm going to hire a fucking housekeeper to do that shit.
Right, because
best
that's
you
what
can
makes
get
you
me
happy.
to do is cook, and I will throw it down in the kitchen because I'm Sicilian.
I think this next video we should
steak and blowjobs, you guys. Steak and blowjobs. That's fine.
Orgasms, right?
That's my love language.
Like Usher said.
Let's watch the video.
What's up, guys? Alexander here. I want to share a new story with you that supported the hypothesis that when women fake an orgasm, it is part of a mate retention strategy, basically trying to keep a mate. It was found that women who reported more frequently faking an orgasm were also more likely to report a fear that their partner was cheating on them. Additionally, women that faked orgasms were also more likely to report mate retention behavior. For example, negative mate retention behavior, such as flirting with another man to make your partner jealous, or getting in a fight with another woman who was speaking to their boyfriend.
You know those "Are we dating the same guy" Facebook groups? Well, this guy in Chicago gets posted by several.
All right, so what do you guys think about that? Women that are more, by the way, that's Alex Date Psych. You guys can check him out on YouTube and on Twitter. The concept of women would fake orgasms more if they believe, as a mate retention strategy, or if they believe that their mate is going to leave them.
100%.
Yes, you agree with that, Liv?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with that. I believe that because, as women, we believe we want to keep our man, right? So we, wake him up with some headlining news. You know what I'm saying? All that.
That is a mate retention strategy.
I'm just saying.
Agreed to that one.
Do those things because that's what you don't want him to leave
but
without.
I think the thing is faking an orgasm. That's a big one. That's a different one, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Bria?
Honestly, I would use reverse psychology and do the opposite. I know that sounds so
you have to fuck me harder to get me to have an orgasm. Is that what you were saying?
Make
Nobody
you chase after the orgasm.
Nobody clip that.
Make him work harder
Nobody
for
clip
it.
that.
Pretend like you did an orgasm and make him keep trying.
So be like, wait a second, is she unhappy with how I'm performing? So they'll try harder, and I'm like, all right.
That's interesting.
Anybody else?
Amber, have you ever faked one to try to keep a dude?
If I'm gonna have a super candid moment, I think anytime, or not anytime, but a lot of the times, more often, I faked an orgasm more because I just really wasn't into it.
Yeah,
and I just wanted it to be done.
That's interesting.
And I know that's weird.
I want to be done already.
And I've had it more happen at the end of a relationship where I kind of know that this isn't working out anymore, really, and I know it because I'm not really into it, but I feel almost that obligation because I am your girlfriend,
right?
And we're in that moment, and I want to make you happy, kind of, but I also don't really want to have sex with you right now. So let's just get through this as fast as we can.
Obligation.
That is definitely a thing.
I got laundry to do.
I don't really
it always feels like it, though, right? It's another list on the list of chores to get done.
Aria?
I've never faked one to keep a guy, but I've done it for his ego. I didn't want him to feel bad.
Absolutely.
There's another study that shows that women have more orgasms when a man has broader shoulders. Have you seen this one?
Oh, good Lord.
Yes, but I think it's more like shoulder to waist ratio. I've seen that one, but I'd never seen this one talking about women faking orgasms when they think their partner's going to leave.
Okay, so
I have more orgasms when they're closer to my height level.
Okay, interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
because
So
it hits
that's
different. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah.
Next?
So when guys are more like my height, even though everyone's like, oh, I need the taller guy. I've noticed when guys are more my height, my orgasms are so much more powerful, and so I ain't mad at it. You know?
So wait, have you faked an orgasm to keep a guy? Oh, girl, whatever. Whoa. Orgasm to keep
That's foul.
a relationship?
Like
no, like I'm saying it the wrong way.
Personal foul.
Yeah.
Have you ever faked orgasms?
Were you
in
making
order
fun
to
of me,
make
or are you drunk?
No, I'm. You just came back from the bathroom, so I'm saying that's what the topic at hand is. Have you ever faked an orgasm to keep a partner or to make a partner feel special?
No.
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 Have you ever had it happen to you?
Do men fake orgasms?
Yeah, they fake them. Yeah, they totally do.
Really?
That sucks.
Yeah.
I don't think a man.
I got a little inside.
Well, then they can't learn. If you're faking it, they don't know that they're bad. So, like, you're only doing yourself an injustice because they're going to keep doing that same lame stuff that they're doing, and they're not going to get better.
You guys, your advice is,
Exactly, you have to be
advice is,
verbal.
this might be true for some women, but the better advice is don't fake it, do the opposite, so the guy tries harder. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say try
I
harder.
said that.
She
I said that.
Yeah,
I will
Use
agree
a
with that.
psychology.
And it's not even try harder, but like you need to like once you get it right, you need to keep doing it right. You know what I mean? And if I give you false pretense that hey, you're doing it right, like
Yeah, they'll
you're
always
never
do
going
it
to get it
forever.
right.
It's like teaching
You know
a
what I mean?
dog.
No,
I don't want to give you that.
I don't want to ruin
let
that
you
training.
learn.
That good damn training, man.
I want to come, damn it.
Okay. I gotta give you my take on this because I've talked about this.
Period.
The one thing that Alex doesn't, maybe he was getting into it later on. I don't know. It's a short clip, but I have heard, read the research, that faking an orgasm, women are more likely to fake orgasms with alpha guys than they are with beta guys because beta guys, beta men aren't worth it. They just like, okay, you didn't, sorry, bye.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So, for instance, if a woman is like, say, it's Shark Week, right? She wants still she has. The thing is that like women's hypergamy cannot afford to miss out on that opportunity.
Right.
So if they're having sex with this guy and like
They're
he
gonna do
expects
the
you to have an
most.
orgasm
Yeah.
and you're not quite there yet because you're still kind of in the wrong phase of your cycle at that time, women will tend to fake orgasms because they want to hang on to that guy so that when she is fertile and she's in the proliferative phase, then they're going to have some really great sex when that happens. So also giving guys blowjobs, also mate retention. Guys,
That's my favorite.
guys
You know
going,
what?
guys
Cut
going.
to it is.
Can I just say something though?
And by the way, guys going down on their girlfriends, also mate retention.
Sure,
Definitely.
sure, makes sense.
100%.
And I love it whenever I bring this up because people say, "Oh, see, women don't really like those alpha guys. They fake orgasms for them." Like, no, they're faking it because they want to get with that guy again,
Yes,
and they want to
the
think that
ego,
he's
yeah.
the best lover that they ever had, so that when she's finally back into her fertile phase, then she can have sex.
Or is it that the alpha male, is the ego is so fragile it has to be faked for them because if not they're
Well,
gonna lose their shit.
She doesn't know, but she's assuming what you're saying. Yeah, maybe
She's presuming that, but that's still part
It
of
could
the
be
mate
either. It could be 50-50. She's faking it because she just wants to retain him and continue a process in the future, or his
Okay, well, if she's
ego is too fragile, he can't handle it. She doesn't fake.
Okay, both can be true at the same time. Because if she's appeasing his ego, why would she be doing that?
Yeah.
Because she wants to retain him for a future fuck.
What did Bernie Mac say? I got mine. You better get yours. Is that Chris Rock is like, why'd you come so fast? He's like, I came right on time. I don't know what you're talking about.
We
That's
came
on
at the
you.
same time, actually.
That's on you. Can we do this next one?
Let's. You want to do Jamie's?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hang on, I gotta switch over.
You're killing me.
All right, here we go. Oh, okay. So let me give you the preamble to this. This is Jamie Lynn from Pink Pill Podcast, who shoots right in the next studio over here.
Yeah, so this is
who could very easily walk through that door and just talk to us face to face.
This is the Red Pill content room, and that's the anti-Red Pill content.
Exactly.
They call it Studio A for anti-Red Pill.
Yes.
That's where Lana does her show. That's where Bree Hunter does her show. That's where Jamie Lynn does her show. In the anti-Red Pill.
So let me also set this up for you here. This ended up in my DMs on the Access Vegas Instagram site. So I presume she is intending for us to react to this. So here's your reaction, Jamie.
They misdirected, and he said, "We are talking about it." Okay, well, great. So Fresh and Fit acknowledged it, and you don't have a problem with it, but that doesn't negate the fact that there's a double standard. That doesn't take away from the fact that you're still shaming women and calling them narcissistic and self-centered, and and making fun of the work that they've had done and criticizing them for the work that they've had done. So, like, these two things don't go together. Well, we are acknowledging it. Okay, well, great. I'm glad that you guys can acknowledge that, but a lot of men aren't acknowledging that. A lot of men in the red pill community still aren't acknowledging that. And also, he made the point that he's like, he even said we don't get shamed for it. Yeah, thanks for proving my point. You don't get shamed for it, but women do. Women do get shamed for it. And the two of you on this show might not be shaming any women, but that doesn't negate the red pill influence and the negativity that is surrounded around women changing their body and how they're narcissistic and full of themselves for doing that. So you guys didn't challenge my point at all, not even in the slightest. In fact, what you did is you supported my argument.
Okay, so first off,
what is her argument?
What is the argument? Before we go on,
I actually got lost
Jesse, you've known me for a decade. Is there a bigger proponent? Like, have I shamed anyone for plastic surgery? Who are you talking to, bro?
Wait, yeah,
like, is there? I am the top. I am the top affiliate and advocate for breast implants on planet Earth. Are you kidding me? You think I was going to shame women for having work done? That is crazy.
You shamed me for wanting to get my boobs reduced.
No, I was joking.
No.
Yeah, I was kidding. I was like,
she's serious, so we gotta address this.
Yeah, but my point is, the point is, the reason why we didn't disagree is because that's not what we're saying. I have never at any point, oh my God, go get the boob job, go get BBL, go get all this stuff.
She's talking about you guys are fresh and fit.
I know, she was talking about us. She was talking about us.
Directly about us.
And it was just one of these things where it's like, I have shaming women. I have never tried to shame any of you for anything we've ever done in the show.
You know what,
the reason why there's a mismatch here is because the same reason that Daily Wire keeps having a mismatch when they say those red pill guys. Because who the fuck are you talking about? It's not us. And by the way, I'm red pill adjacent. He's red pill. The thing is, like, what happens is these content is like, well, somebody else said something and you guys are still shaming women because of the work they got done. No, not only am I not shaming women for the work they got done, and by the way, she is correct about the double standard. There's all kinds of double standards. If I have a girl and she cheats on me, it makes me look worse. It lowers my status. If you're a girl and you stay with your man after he cheats on you, you actually don't lose status.
That is 100% false, and I don't know why you keep repeating that narrative.
Absolutely true.
Girls are laughing in other girls' faces.
Again, you're not losing your job. You're not losing your job. It's nowhere near the same thing. When women stay with a dude for a long time and all of a sudden she gets cheated on, there's no loss of men trying to get with her. That is not true.
That's not what her value is.
But that's part of her value is other people being attracted to her. She doesn't lose any of that. Men do. I fucked your bitch in some Gucci flip-flops.
Oh my God, you always say that.
Men dunk on other men. Men dunk on other men.
All the time you said that in one video.
Now, here's the other thing. Is there a double standard with the plastic surgery? I do think women in general are shamed. We're not shaming them here, but like men get the beard with the beard transplants and the hair transplants or whatever. The guy who owns the studio, he's very open about having hair transplants. And my whole thing is fucking do all of it. There's a great book about this.
Everything.
Do all it. Jonathan Haidt wrote this book called The Happiness Hypothesis and goes over the presumption like women, when they get plastic surgery, they feel better about themselves for like decades. So go fucking do it. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I've never had this issue. That's why we're confused, Jamie, because you're not talking about us.
I just want to point one thing out, Jamie. See this lovely thumbnail that I do for every fucking show? Does it look like I am shaming anyone in there? If anything, I want you to show me. I use your photo.
He used a picture of my titties out.
I've got like real natural titties. I'm the smallest one there.
I got your calendar. I'm going to put it in my garage so I can see what I'm working on.
You better put my calendar in your garage.
My girlfriend is a bikini model. Like, what are we? No, Jamie. Like, I understand what you're saying. It's just you're not talking about. It's like when Daily Wire's talking about those red pill guys, they mean Pearl Davis. And when you are talking about red pill stuff, you're not talking about the two of us, because look, what we do is we try to give information. It's a little bit right of center, but we try to give information, and we have very few prescriptions. We have a few prescriptions. Like, I don't believe in long distance relationships. I do think a woman has to be slightly more into her man than the other way around. I have a few prescriptions.
Look at Jesse.
I have a few prescriptions, but I don't. But for the most part, I'm just trying to give.
I should also point out that since day one, since the day you were actually on our show, on our very first show, we were defending every single one of these women. From the guys there saying, "Oh, they're all plastic. Oh, they all look like
Jamie Villamore.
I need a man, or I need a woman who is a natural 10, not these made up plastic bitches." And we're like, "Okay, fine. Send me a picture of what you think would be a better looking woman than the women that are around this table. I've never got a single picture from anyone about that who says, oh, I want a girl who's natural. You wouldn't even know what a natural tit looked like if it come up and bit you on the ass. Because you've been so accustomed to checking out porn and seeing this. You wouldn't even know.
No, they're natural.
I pointed that out on every single show. Every single time somebody says, oh, these are plastic bimbos. No, they have lip filler. They got Brazilian butt lifts.
There's a video that went viral of a woman going up to men at the mall and holding up pictures of women like, is this girl wearing makeup? Or she first asked the men if they like makeup or natural. And every guy across the board said they like a more natural woman. And every picture she held up was a girl that looked very natural, and they're all wearing makeup. But the men just don't know, and they did it more.
It's a natural
more
glow.
low key. They weren't a whole face of makeup. It wasn't whole high coverage. But like they're not all doing photo shoots every day of their life, so not everyone's gonna wear makeup.
One thing I can't stand about the whole shaming thing, it's like, listen, it's your body. It is you. It's what you want for you.
How does what you do affect me?
Right.
Do whatever you want. If I'm not trying to date you, marry you, have kids with you, why does what you do affect me?
Why does it matter what I do to my body? Right?
Yeah, I don't care.
Why do you care?
My point is, we don't care. At no point. I had someone else telling me.
You do. Why do you care? Men.
I had someone else telling me that I'm like that.
Look, wait. I gotta say something. I gotta say one more thing. Nobody should care. Not even you should care. So, like, for instance, I have a friend, bad. I'm talking like she's on T-shirts and shit. Just.
Why is that bad? Wait, what?
Bad, like hot, like just on fire, like woo.
She's on this,
and she doesn't know it. You know what I mean?
She doesn't walk around like
she doesn't. So, and when I told her and I compliment her, and I'm like, girl, your body is crazy. Like, your shit looks natural. Like you. And the only reason why I say it looks natural because right when I compliment her, she's like, "Oh, it's fake."
Oh, she's
self-deprecating. I'm like, come on, man. Like, you don't have to tell me that. You don't have to tell anybody that. You own that shit. That's your body. Whether you decide you want to edit it and do whatever you want to do to it to modify to be better for what you want. You want bigger hips? That makes you feel better? Do that. We don't have to.
Totally agree. Are there people in this community that shame women for getting plastic surgery? Yes. It is not here at this table.
No.
I live in Las Vegas, fucking Nevada.
We're in Las Vegas,
Come
Nevada.
on.
We don't give a shit.
If you're not paying for it, then shut
We
it
actually
down.
like the big
norm
we
here.
like it
That's
over
why
here,
we all came
actually.
together. We're all like-minded.
We do live in a clickbait culture right now where nobody's reading the fucking article and they're reading the first 3 words. X did this. And if I'm to be honest, Mike and Rollo, so my 2 female dating coaches that I work with, only watching your guys' clips for 3 seconds made their assumption about you guys.
Ugh.
I've known Mike. How long, Mike?
It would have been like November of 2008.
That's what I was trying to say.
For a very, very long time. But that being said, me as a dating coach, my 2 female dating coach friends automatically saw Rollo and Mike and gave them about 3 seconds, and then they went, red pill, nope, not going. I go, no, wait.
Yeah. It's that instant gratification.
That's what I was trying to say.
Watch the podcast.
It's
like,
the way that the clips are cut because I've had girlfriends come to me when I tell them, oh, I'm going on the podcast tonight. And they're like, wait, why? I would never do that, blah, blah.
But
and I'm like, no. I'm like, that's so wrong. I'm like, did you actually watch the whole video? I said, because whoever's cutting the clips, is portraying things just like the reality TV shows.
So then
doesn't mean
I came
that's
from a reality
what the conversation was even about.
Right. They just take what...
But I think... Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, that's the thing with the clips. I think moving forward, you guys maybe need to just... Because, I mean...
I'm going to push back so much against that.
Yeah. So just so you understand, I have affiliates, and they can do whatever they want.
Right.
People can clip I don't have control over some of that.
But also, too, Mike...
That makes sense.
I just got to push back. But also, too, if there wasn't a reaction out of that,
we wouldn't get 60,000 people watching
up.
this. Yeah,
so that's what it's all about.
You guys let me know what you think about this. I love the reaction you get, and let them think that you are this way, and then invest about an hour and really watch Mike and Rollo's content, and then they're like, wait a minute. Actually, they're pretty cool. It happened with Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and Andrew Tate. When Jake Paul first came out, 3 years ago, I hate him. Right now he's a hero. We love him. He's the best. Same thing with Andrew Tate.
Yep.
Fuck him, this and that. Now they're like, actually, he's like saving a lot of like suicides. Yeah. And so my point is, like, at what point the clickbait is no, you're red pill, but then invest time and go, no, wait, stop.
Do your research.
So I actually think it's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah, well, I've been doing this for 22 years, and I think that's a good illustration.
I just wanted to say something.
It might be there.
What the fuck? What the
PMS?
Well, I mean, it was so like, and that's another thing is like, I know Mike gets dragged into this because of his association with me, but like when I'm out there throwing out, stuff, I've got 5 books. I've been, in this field or whatever. Well, I don't even know what to call it.
Like
for 22,
artistry, blogging.
Well,
blogging,
writing, blogging, writing books, being an author, doing all this stuff. And what we didn't even call it the manosphere back then. You're from the old school, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we didn't even call it real red. The first instance of red pill that I can remember typing out was like in 2004, and it wasn't because we had this red pill movement or something. It was just some reference that we were using at that time that actually took off, and it took like 15 years for it to take off, right? But
And
the thing
catchy.
is, but nobody knows those things because all they're thinking of is the last like 2-4 years of quote unquote red pill with Pearl Davis and Tate, and everyone else thinks it just sprung up in 2019, and now the movement is over. It's like, no, it's not. It's like this has been going on a lot longer. Like when I'm talking to critics of like my work, they just simply it's just this ignorance that I have to I'm constantly dealing with, and they're confident in that ignorance.
Yeah. And that's what that's society.
This is bullshit.
That's
like, no,
society as a whole. Like a lot of people are very ignorant, and they get a lot of their information from one source. They'll go on the internet, they'll read an article, and then they'll believe it. They don't do extended research to find out the truth.
We're in a dopamine hit society right now, so we're beyond the art, we're beyond the entertainment. It's not even entertainment anymore. It's just give me my hit, which is a 45-second clip, which we're about to play right now.
All right, let's see what I'm really interested in what Jesse thinks about this clip here.
Why Jesse all the time?
Jesse.
All right, you ready?
This is for you.
Oh, great.
Height matters.
Of course it does.
Step on the scale.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going on the scale. You should love
saw that one too.
You should love a guy for who they are, regardless of height.
I'm not stepping on the scale.
Why?
Because I'm not.
You restart it.
I would step on the damn scale.
Everybody be completely quiet.
Okay,
everybody be quiet. One more time.
It's hella low volume, sorry.
Height matters.
Of course it does.
No.
Step on the scale.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going on the scale. You should love a girl for who they are.
You should love a guy for who they are, regardless of height.
I'm not stepping on the scale.
Why?
Because I'm not.
Okay, so take it back.
I'm not taking it back.
So weigh yourself.
No.
You're
If you care
being a
about
coward.
weight, you're ridiculous. And
If you care about height, you're ridiculous.
Oh my God.
But you don't need to know an exact number.
You don't need to know an exact height.
Exactly, I don't. All you gotta know is that they're taller than me, and that's
She's mad because she doesn't have a ruler.
Step on the scale.
Yeah, because she's short. I'm sorry.
She's like, damn it, I didn't bring my measuring tape.
She doesn't have heels on.
So step on the scale. Let's see.
No, I don't want to do that. That's scary as fuck.
That's
Why?
stupid.
What do you mean why?
You're judging guys based on height, so I'm judging you based on weight.
Let's get it.
I would 100%
I love
step on
that.
that scale, though.
Who here finds that offensive, what you just saw?
50-50.
You do?
Offensive.
Aria, what do you find offensive?
Would you get on the scale?
I mean, I would, but I'm small, so it wouldn't like affect me as much. But I feel like a lot of women, when they're like thinking about reproducing, they want their child to be like tall, right?
And a guy wants his girl to be skinny.
Okay, but
Right.
you can go to
I didn't expect all of you to agree. I really didn't expect this.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna step on the scale. I look fucking good
I'm
naked.
so, I truly expected the opposite reaction from you guys. First off, and secondly, I would never do that to a woman, but I can't tell you a moral reason to not do that to a woman.
I mean,
because
it's like, how tall is my man?
I don't know. How tall is he? 5'9", 5'10"? How tall is he? I don't
Is he
know.
tall as you?
He's as tall as me.
Yeah.
And I'm I mean, he's 5'8", but what is that? 2 or 3 inches more than me? Like I don't understand the obsession with the 6 feet.
Well,
and
I know that you don't.
What that is.
Go ahead, Cosmo.
I was going to say, I think this is a big one. I think that the women would get offended because of the intention of why the guy's asking that.
To humiliate
Like,
them.
for example, like get on the scale. It might not be about the weight. Like, I love what you just said right now. You're like, I'll get on the scale. I look good naked, right? But the intention of the
Fuck
guy
yeah, I do.
asking you that, and I
You
might
guys
be
can
off, but
find
you
me.
guys let me know if I'm off. Every girl on the table. The intention of the guy asking you get on a fucking scale.
It's
Just the
triggering.
intention there is what? To belittle, to humiliate. So I don't think like right now from an episode I saw with you guys, it was very confrontational versus the guys that you brought here. I feel like today is very symbiotic. There's not a lot of tension. I feel like if any us three asked you guys to get on the scale, it would be different. But a guy that you don't know, filming you, get on a scale. Even if you're comfortable with your weight, you'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah,
Because you also never know where that's going to end up.
That's real.
I feel the awkwardness in that situation, but the other part was that I don't want to get on the scale. That's scary as shit. You know what else is scary as shit? Being a man who's short trying to date women today.
Trying to like have
that's
the courage
also
to go
fucking
and
scary.
ask girls out.
Or a man that puts lifts in his shoes.
By the way, real quick. By the way, you guys, I'm sorry, I don't know why this is happening.
I am 5'11".
Yeah, I don't know why this is happening, but people are so obsessed with my height right now, and they're dudes. Guys, question your sexuality if you're that obsessed with my height. I'm 6'1", and I'll put $100 million on it. You guys can go ahead and come say whatever the fuck you want.
We need to put one of those measurement sticks like they have at like 7-Eleven on like the side of the door.
Get
on the scale, Mike. Get on the scale.
For sure.
I'll play the weight game all day though. Like I don't care. I know I'm heavy. I love playing the weight game, the guessing.
She would look hot naked too. I saw her ass.
But it's like well, I make a game out of it. I'll play the weight game all day.
Well,
but
here's,
I mean,
okay, so, and I understand what you're saying, because as you put women on the spot, that's really what it's intended to do. These are like drive-by shootings is what they are. Okay, but the main point that it's trying to illustrate here is that men cannot control their height. Women can control their weight.
I was just gonna say that, like from the beginning. I was like,
you need to say anything. That's exactly
you have
what you
some
need to say.
control. Okay,
you have all the
you
control,
do.
right? And it shows a lot of discipline too, if you can.
Yeah,
it's like
some
how are you
people
gonna
really
judge?
struggle a lot, but you do have some control over
your diet.
Control or no control. It is. Why is it shallow for a woman to care about a man's height? And it's also. That's not shallow, but it is shallow for a man to care about a woman's weight.
But it's also because a lot of guys, I hear it a lot, and I heard it just a couple of like a month ago, and that like someone that's dating someone, and they're like, I like my women to be skinny. So men also do put the influence out there saying, I want them to look a certain way always, and they got like that, and they lead it.
And women say, I like my men to be tall.
Yeah, and if you want to say that's shallow,
I actually don't mind. I'm like 5'7", and I'm dating 5'4".
If you want to say that that's shallow, that men are like that,
And
that's
I love
fine.
it.
Okay, wait. I gotta say this before I forget, because I keep trying to remember. What you said is very true, because if that woman had a measuring tape in her pocket when he told her to get on the scale, I want to test your weight. Oh, well, let me test your height. You know, now we're on the same page. But because he had the leverage,
absolutely not. I'm sorry.
Then it's kind of like it's like, oh, wait a second. You know, it's very triggering because it's like they're no longer in control. You know what I mean? And when you're walking through Venice Beach and you're feeling like a hot shot, and some guy comes up to you and now you're being filmed and you're like, you know, and you're put on the spot.
I feel like what Rollo said was that there's a point to the video, and then I feel like what guys do to go viral is they like really go hard in the paint on making the point, and it just makes
women.
It just doesn't look good.
Makes you insecure.
I don't know. It went viral. We've all seen that video.
That's why.
So, but again, it goes viral. But I don't think it's the most like appropriate way of doing it. Like sitting down and really talking to women.
Yeah.
Rollo, I get what you're gonna say.
Everyone has to have escalation. Is that's all it is.
I get what you're gonna. I feel like your point might be like, okay, so
I feel you. But
you got to cause attention.
There's a part of it where like I'm always struggling with trying to be like informational, educational, and at the same time, I can do that all day long, and people will just their eyes will glaze over, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Like we can be talking about like some very technical shit, like the Dr. David Buss, 10 country studies and shit like that, and get really in the weeds, and women around the table are just like.
Oh no, I'm actually the opposite.
They're just checking out exactly.
I love it. I'm sapiosexual.
That's good. That's good. You're first. But the thing is like we'll be here talking about this stuff and be really intense about this, and it's not entertainment.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that what you
What
just
to me it
saw
is. Was entertainment.
Well, I mean, you look at TikTok. TikTok is entertainment. You're
Right.
not there to learn unless you're like going to YouTube Shorts to learn how to hang drywall or some shit like that. You're not there for anything other than I'm mindlessly scrolling to the next thing, the next 45
And I think by
seconds.
making this video go viral, maybe more women will now think I should be more open-minded to date a shorter guy until real life happens.
Still
and
not gonna happen.
insecure about my weight.
Until real life happens, and then they match with a guy, or they see a guy that was at a table, and they don't realize until he stands up that he's fucking short, and they're like, I'm sorry, not gonna work. But at least there's a fairy tale that women might feel, let me give the shorter guy a chance. Not realistic.
At the end of the day, when you're walking down Venice Beach and a guy comes up to you and he says something like, predict my height, and you don't, and he's like, I'll predict your weight, step on the scale, and you get offended, why so serious? Like, you're at Venice Beach. Get the fuck over yourself. Stand on the thing or walk away. Like, I don't know. Life's too short for all this stuff.
If you had like a measuring tape,
His dick would have been like little.
Would you then like if you had the measuring tape and you could measure how high he was? Would then
We
you
would
get on the
have-
scale?
we definitely
I
would
don't
have
think
viral.
so.
I think at some point though you have
Yes,
to,
and then
you have
I
to
would
stop
be like, pull
shaming
down your
people.
pants.
You like stop shaming people for kind of being shallow when it comes to your sexual
See, I
attraction,
don't think it's-
right?
I don't even think it's
because
about
it's not,
shame.
it's not. But like
Agreed.
the way they portray it, a lot of people want to beat you down if you don't want to date someone that's smaller or shorter than you as a guy, or if you're a guy and you don't want to date a girl that's overweight, and then they start to shame you for being shallow. But at some point, it's just your sexual preference, right?
Yes.
So, and to get in a
I mean, those
relationship
guys
with
are
somebody,
fuckboys
you have to
anyway.
go off your sexual preference. So if you're not sexually attracted to somebody because they're overweight, that's, you know what, they have control over their weight, right? Like you have no control over the sexual desire that you don't have for them. Oops, sorry, on to the next.
Agreed.
Like,
But the point is,
100%.
neither one.
That's
The
why
point
I'm
is,
saying
neither one of them are
cheers to
shallow.
that.
That's the actual point.
Yeah. Yes.
Neither one of them are shallow.
Agreed.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I do consider it to be shallow if you're not. I consider it to be shallow if you're not willing to even give someone an opportunity to know them just based off their height.
Then you gotta tell the hundreds of thousands of women, and I know a lot of them that have
shallow.
literally
100%, yeah, for
that-
sure.
Oh, okay, well, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No,
I mean, the guy I'm
100%
interested
agree.
in is
A
pretty
girl
short.
can come up to me like, this guy is amazing, he's great, he's this, and this, but he's so short. Like, who cares? Give him a chance. If you fall in love with him, then it
Yeah.
works out, and that's all that matters. But
You're the 0.01%.
Sometimes you just have this instant, like,
if he's
knowing.
so great, friend zone.
I mean,
awesome.
Just get him to take steroids.
I mean, and the thing
that
is,
makes
is
them
like,
grow high, tall.
Well, the thing is
how tall are you?
5'8".
5'8". So okay, you got some damn big heels on today because you were pretty tall.
Yeah.
Today. How tall are you?
5'7".
5'7".
5'6.5", huh?
5'8.5".
5'6".
See, there's not a
Am I the
woman. There's
shortest
not a
one
woman
here?
here that's. Yeah, you're 5'5".
I'm 5'3".
5'3".
Oh my God, you're so cute.
5'3"? I thought you were 5'1".
I haven't seen you standing up. Are you said you're Puerto Rican?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, it didn't come out. Yeah.
She didn't have to.
I was waiting for you to say like, "Oh, this is why you sat us together," and I was like, "What happened?"
Oh, you put the two Puerto Ricans next to each
No,
other?
no, I'm not Puerto Rican. I'm not crazy. I would never.
That's why I
You
wasn't
wanna
allowed
go
to bring
with
my
her?
knife.
Love
Got
it.
Okay. All right, here we go.
My Roman Empire, and I don't think a lot of people have thought about this, given I do a lot of thinking during my day, not much doing, but my Roman Empire is I think girls sometimes like guys, not because they're hot, not because of their personality, but because other hot girls like that guy. Like, for example, a few weeks ago, I was out at the bars, and I saw this guy, I was like, that's not a good looking kid, like, continued on my way, and then I see him with all these hot girls, and I was like, is he hot? Oh, yeah. Is he hot? Did I miss? Am I crazy? Is that guy hot? Yeah, I think he's hot. All of a sudden, I thought he was the hottest thing ever. And I think this happens all the time. Like, I see some of the ugliest motherfuckers pull the hottest girls ever. And I'm like,
Always,
what the
always.
fuck? And then I'm like, oh, because he pulled one hot girl, so the rest of the hot girls followed. And not to throw any of my ex-boyfriends
It is what
under
it
the bus.
is.
However, I will
something
say
to
I
say
was
on
better
this
looking
one.
than all of them. Basically all of them. And then they weren't pulling hot girls before me, and then all of a sudden, we break up, and it's like, well, where the fuck did the supermodels come from that want you now? Why the fuck do the supermodels want you? What the fuck?
100%.
And I'm not saying I'm hot shit or anything, okay? I'm not trying to say that. But since I was better looking than my exes and I was like pretty by like that standard.
Right.
The pretty ones came out of the woodworks and wanted my exes. I was like, what the fuck? And that is how I know I'm not the only one. I also don't think girls mean to do it. I think it's purely a subconscious thing of thinking that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's
fun.
I agree with her. She's hilarious.
MOAmentoring.com. MOAmentoring.com.
I'm curious who disagrees with this, right?
It's human
me too,
psychology.
me too.
Like, that's how...
And fellas, they're all agreeing with this. It's just so crazy. I have to argue this all the time. So colloquially, we call it pre-selection, but in psychology, it's called sexy son's hypothesis or mate choice copying, and that's the concept of women being more attracted to men that other women are attracted to. It doesn't quite work the other way around. Like men, we're not more attracted to you because more men are attracted to you. We're attracted to you because what we can see. Yeah. And so because of that, one of the things that happens is there's a lot of guys that come to me and they have these horrible limiting beliefs about their height or their ethnicity or whatever. And if you could just had a bunch of females that hung out with you, showed you a bunch of pre-selection, just went out. Like, dude, Jesse's a great wing woman. If you went out with Jesse and you're like, Jesse, I really like this girl, pull me away from her like while she's talking to me, whatever, Jesse would do it. Dude, like, you just get some cool wing women, it'll absolutely help.
You can hire me for $1,000 an hour, and I'll pretend to be your ex-girlfriend.
For sure.
Say that your
so
dick
smart.
is so big, and
I'll
that
be
you're
there with you
phenomenal
today.
bed. Oh my God. $1,000 for 1 hour of my time, and I will pretend to be the ex-girlfriend
create a
that's
whole
like
ass
still in love
business
with
out of
you,
that
and you
shit.
got
Sounds like a
away.
business.
No, I do that. I definitely do that for all my guy friends, for sure.
Right in the money.
You'll help them out.
Definitely.
I used to be the best
again,
wing woman in high school for my guy
you know what?
friends.
You know what's crazy?
I remember that shit.
Someone should teach a course on this. That's crazy. Anyway, hopefully somebody will come up with a course on that.
Let's rewind a little bit.
that.
Let's rewind to the girl.
What do you mean?
I will say this,
She's
that no matter
hilarious.
how well you teach certain men to do things, some men just have that. What's that? Almost said the juice.
Big penis?
Charisma or like...
Yeah. Like, you can't teach someone with social awkwardness to just be the man.
Well,
But
you
they
can
you can
teach
teach them to
them.
be better.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they're never gonna walk into the room and have the presence that
called
somebody
peacocking.
else that just automatically has.
What is it?
I got one. Well, I got to do super chats here, but I did want to read this real quick. This is from Dr. David Schmidt, who, by the way, is a colleague of Dr. David Buss. He's the evil Dr. David. When women had no trait or financial information other than a photo, they showed mate choice copying. But when women obtained personality, trait, or financial situation information, no matter negative or positive, of potential mate choice copying disappears.
Right. But in a short-term, unfamiliar scenario, what you just said doesn't exist. But what does exist is her seeing him with other girls.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
I literally just experienced this. Man, my guy was like, we got into an argument. In 2 days, he was with his best friend, right? And he was not a good I mean, I'm not saying he's ugly, but he wasn't the best looking guy. And it's like, I put him on a pedestal. We did all these things together. We're on Instagram. We're doing all this stuff. And so his best friend of 10 years is watching all this. And as soon as we get into an argument, she just like swoops in when he's vulnerable. You know what I mean? And now that love he was giving me, he's giving to her. And they're not happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now he's with someone that he's not even...
But you agree that part of the attraction she had for him was because she was attracted to you.
Yes, because I made him look so good.
Also, with
You
that
know?
study you're talking about, there's different contexts to it. So one context might be you see a boyfriend and a girlfriend together and you're part of their friend group. And another one is you're walking around at a bar and there's a guy at a dance floor table and he's got like 12 super hot girls with him. Those are all different types of mate choice copying. But
Well,
all you ladies
also that
agree.
You're not going to get like somebody's 401ks and go, okay, yeah, now I want to be with this guy. Or his, whatever his financials were.
Yeah.
Let me get these super chats because this is I don't know about this one. Rolo and Michael, which side are you on in the rap beef civil war between Drake and Kendrick Lamar?
I'll probably Drake.
Drake, 100%. Drake. Sorry.
Wait, I
have no idea what was just said.
I would say
do
Drake.
love Kendrick. I do love Kendrick, but Drake, 100%.
Which side of the battle are we on for between Drake and Kendrick Lamar?
What side of the battle are we on between Drake and P. Diddy? What side of the battle are we on?
We're going to ask him.
Drake.
And then I got another one here. Whatever this is. From Czar. Desire is not a choice. Women like what they like and men like what they like. We need to stop virtue signaling and acting like we're above what we find sexually attractive as men and women.
Hairless, 100%. Ready? Say it with me, guys. Hairless murder apes.
That's our next t-shirt.
We are hairless murder apes.
Those are us. I'll take
Hairless.
it. I'm a monkey monkeying around.
Yep.
I'm monkeying around.
So do I say murder or murder? Murder.
Hairless.
What it means is we're human beings, okay?
Yes.
We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna do a bunch of dumb shit, and we're just gonna ape around, monkey around, have a good time. That's what we're here for.
And also, at the end of the day, we're just animals.
Was it the Beatles?
We're animals.
We're animals. We're too complicated.
Rashad, thank you for the super chat. Do you think it's appropriate for women to go to a nightclub or a girls' trip with your single friends when you are in a committed relationship? Will it constitute cheating when a man comes up to you during these situations and you just talk with him?
If she sneezed and he said "bless you," is that cheating? Is that a body? Shut the fuck up.
No.
How about that guy gets some like security?
If a girl goes out of her way to go to a bar because she wants to flirt and talk to men, I would consider that cheating.
Yes. Yeah.
If she's at the bar and
With
she's
her
hanging out with her
friends.
friends and a man approaches her, she's not in control of that. She is in control, however, of denying
How
the
she
drink.
responds to him or
I'm not
acts
going to
around
accept
him.
a drink. I don't want a drink. I'm not interested. The only reason why I would accept a drink from you is A, if I was too broke to buy my own, which is not the case, or B, if I was interested or playing interested. I'm not going to either fake interest or pretend to be too broke to buy my own drinks. So yes, there is a line that gets crossed when women go out that would constitute in my book as cheating.
Sure.
But going out with your friends and having a man approach you, which you're not in control of, and you maybe multiple times telling him to go away, it's not your problem. And just because men are insecure about it doesn't mean that it's your problem.
I don't think accepting a drink is cheating.
No.
At all. Yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah, if you want to send
I'm
me a drink,
single,
wow,
so-
thank you, that's so nice.
If you send it without you asking,
It's a
different
dangerous
story.
line here.
I've totally said
It's
men
Cosmo.
drink.
It is a very dangerous line right
Yeah,
here.
it is. It is.
And here's why.
Playing with fire.
So I feel that depending on who your boyfriend is and who you're in a relationship with, if you end up running into the wrong guy
Right.
that has his shit together, that is charismatic, unreactive, and that you're like talking to him, looking at him going, I know I won't cheat. I know I'm a good woman. I will never cheat on my man. But this guy just opened up another part of my brain that goes, am I settling with the guy that I'm with right now?
Is he the best I
So
can do?
fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out, because if you meet the right guy, and I won't point any fingers, but I've had, I swear to God, I've had boot camps where my job, how I'm paying my mortgage, how I pay my money is, guys, I go into a social gathering and I go walk up to those 5 girls with the 4 guys. This is my job.
Yeah.
So then, been doing it for 18 years. I have data now where the girl stayed, she didn't cheat, but I just saw it in her eyes that she went, what am I missing right now?
The seed of doubt has been planted.
And Rolo, you know what happened? She would tell her friend, get down his information, because she wanted to be loyal. And guess what happens? She ends up not following me, but I'm like, who's looking at my story? That girl. 8 months later, guess what happens?
Your plan B.
She breaks up with her boyfriend. So I agree with what you're saying. Fuck around and find out, though.
Yeah.
No,
It's an unspoken, taking a
if you're,
drink is an unspoken, like,
because they're planting a
there's
seed right there
possibility,
with that
maybe.
drink.
but I'm going to tag it with just one liner. If you're not a high value guy, if you don't feel that you are like providing a lot for your girl, and you let your girl go out on a trip, or you know what I'm saying. Like if your girlfriend goes out and runs into the wrong guy at the wrong time,
Or the right guy.
good luck.
At the right time.
Well, he's not the right guy because you're monogamous and you're
I
in a
know, but
relationship.
What I'm saying is that it could be that way. It could be the guy that she's been dreaming of her whole life that she just stumbled across without even trying to look for it, and now you fucked around and you found out. Right?
But you're going to get,
Right, and when you're
but I
married,
hear you,
that's not
but
an
you hear what
option.
I'm saying, though, right?
It's not
Like,
appropriate, but it could be. It is what it's the potential.
There is nothing appropriate or inappropriate
all.
about it.
So let me
over.
opine here.
Oh, Lord.
The problem isn't about going out and going. It's the desire to
The
do
grass
it
is greener.
in the first place.
100%.
Yes.
Okay.
To think the grass is greener. That's the
Well,
problem.
it's not even so much that. It's the very fact that why is going out on a hey, we're going to go to Vegas, a girls' weekend in Vegas, right?
Right.
Or a girls' night out kind of thing. Why does that seem preferable to like going out with the girls than to hanging out with me and doing something really fun with me.
Well, why can't she have both?
Because
This
she
is
wants
what I
girl
don't
time.
understand.
Exactly.
You can't have
Girl time is
you can't have full,
because
well-rounded life if
Right.
you're always only with your person. You have to be able to be with your
Right.
friends.
But why
and
do
you
you
cannot
why do you
dictate.
why do you go to those situations? Why aren't
Some
you going?
people
why
like
aren't you
music.
here-
Some
why
people
aren't you
like that
going-
environment.
And you want to go
Okay,
like this.
then why
and
is
you-
that
How
more?
often do you
then
see
why
me in the
is-
club?
Then why is that more preferable
No.
than going out with me?
Every single
Because
time.
we
But why do you go out with your male friends and I can't
You
go out
can
with
go
my
with me next
girlfriends?
weekend, and the weekend after I'm going to go with my girls. There's nothing wrong with going to the club. That's like telling men they can't go to a strip club when they're in a relationship. If it's okay in your relationship, it's okay in your relationship.
Hello.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to do it. You can easily go with your man to the strip club.
Because a
Or
man's
you-
going to
And
lie
again,
and
as
say
I
you
said
didn't
before,
go, but you know you did.
It's understanding the desire to go and do that. The very fact that
There's
she
nothing
it's
wrong with
like
the
when you were
desire to
saying-
go to a music
when you were saying
setting.
okay,
It's a music setting. Just because they've made it
understandable.
a sexual thing now where people go to
Yeah,
get laid.
that's true. That's
Exactly.
It was
That
not
is
about
not our
that.
fault. That is
it
not
took
our
a turn
fault.
that way. There's nightclubs
That's
were,
Cardi B's
were a
fault.
place for you to have
Grocery
fun
stores as well.
and
You can meet
Would
someone
Would you
anywhere.
agree that there's a difference between going out
We
to
don't blame
Zoo
that on
and
Cardi
going
B.
to Bible study with your girlfriends?
Why does it have to be one extreme or the other?
That's
We
because
do
I'm
Bible
trying
study on
There's
both
such an
sides.
extreme.
But it
because
also
I'm trying
depends
to
on the
point out that
context
there's
of how you go to that
Exactly.
club. Because like if you go to that, for instance, if it's a girls trip, you go to that club and you pay for your table and you pay
Right.
for your drinks or your bottles. That's you having fun with your friends.
Right,
But
that's
if you go
exactly
to
what I
that
said to
club
her.
to
Right.
talk to the promoter to get the
Right.
free table with the guys because they want the attractive girls, and
Right.
you let it slide because well, I'm not cheating,
I don't wanna
but
pay
I
for
just want
anything.
free stuff.
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
it gets into that like
That's when it gets
kind of iffy. It
Again,
gets
the
really
nightclub
iffy.
is not the issue because a girl can easily have zero. I don't drink when I go out. One of my best friends in the whole entire world is a top DJ, and I go every single time he's in town. I go and I hang out with him.
You
And
support him.
Ask Michael every time he sees me on stage. What am I doing?
Just hanging out with your boyfriend.
Standing there, or my husband's with me. Either my husband's standing right next to me, or I'm standing by myself like this, waiting for his set to end because I'm a supportive friend. And it's like I can go to the club.
Wow, his sets are awesome.
His sets are awesome.
His sets are awesome. It's still my Dead
Absolutely.
Mouse. His sets are great.
Yeah,
if
I
he
love
was
that.
playing tonight, I would take all of you to go see Dead
Yes.
Mouse. Yeah.
He'll be back on the 12th.
Yes.
But my point is the nightclub
Was-
setting is not the problem.
I
it's the
think-
intent of the person going to the
Intent.
nightclub.
Right.
Absolutely.
There you go.
It's
Yeah.
all
Comes down to
intention.
intent.
It has nothing. If I say
100%.
I want to go to the nightclub, if my intent is just to go hang out or to see my friend play or to be with my girls, that is the only thing that matters. It shouldn't be that she went to a nightclub, she's a hoe, she's
Where
a
you-
3 or 4,
where
she's
you-
Looking for a man.
Yeah,
I'm not
like,
good
oh,
enough.
shit, here she goes.
She needs
Like,
bottles
no.
with somebody
I don't
else.
even drink.
But you just said a minute ago, responding to Cosmo there, that you might meet the guy
And
who.
that's the
I was
risk
drunk,
you run.
he was
no, no, no,
cute,
no, no.
and
you can meet the
That's
guy
not what I
at
said. What I
walking
said is
the dog.
accepting the drinks. I told her very clearly, I think crossing the line is accepting drinks. I won't even accept a drink from a man. I won't engage in conversation with a man because I don't want him to think he has a chance. And I don't want to disrespect my relationship. The moment girls are like, I don't mind taking a drink. I don't know. That's when you start playing with fire. And that's what he was talking about. Where you never know when you start engaging in conversation and this guy sparks something in you. And all of a sudden now you fucked around and you found the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'm not
Can
doing
I say
that
something?
shit.
Because you know what's true? Is that when a man comes to you and they want to buy you a drink, they're planting some sort of seed with
They're
you.
telling you what their intent is.
So
and you're accepting their intent.
if you have a man at home and you and you accept this drink from this man instead of buying your own, and then next thing you know, you got something in there.
Yeah, that's
next
wrong.
thing you know what I mean? And
Just-
that's
yeah,
how shit like that happens.
it is
in
it is
Vegas.
one of these weird situations. So I've asked my guys in my program to stop rating women by their physical attractiveness and start rating them by the level of stimulus they receive.
Amen.
Meaning, if you grab a girl who's a 10
That's good.
and she's just like, hey, listen, I'm working to become a surgical nurse. I'm going to school the whole time. I don't really go out that much or whatever, but she's still fantastically
Validate
beautiful.
that, yeah.
Versus a woman who might be a 6 who uses FaceApp and Facetune on her Instagram and then takes regular trips to Dubai.
Yeah.
The girl who's a 6 is more difficult to deal with, period, even though she's less attractive. So I started realizing it's the amount of stimulus you receive. It's also the amount of stimulus you want. She may, I'm going to go to see Thunder from Down Under and not cheat on you. Why do you need that level of stimulus? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Because here's the thing. human beings, this is something you learn if you guys ever go to any kind of intelligence training or they go to any kind of like SEER school or whatever. Everybody breaks. No matter how, everyone, if they put you under torture, you will break. And if you take the bet, and you've seen this yourself with cocktail servers who've moved to the city and they leave their fucking husbands and they start fucking the busser or some rich dude who buys them stuff. But it's not because it was, you know what it was though? It was chip away. It was chip away. Every day there was a guy taller, better looking, smarter, and fucking funnier and richer than their man. Every day they saw that. And after a while, you have to ask yourself, one more time, how much stimulus is she constantly receiving every day? Men screw themselves up with stimulus. What is that called? It's pornography. It causes men under the age of 18 to have erectile dysfunction. Women have the excessive levels of stimulus that they receive too. But if it's so much stimulus, then your man cannot compare. 80% of men on dating apps are deemed unattractive.
And before social media, you can go back in my time. I'm 40 years old. When the pickup artist came out, you not to rate women, but like you see like a 9 or a 10. She's like in Arkansas. We're doing a boot camp. She's working at 7-Eleven. But she has no idea. What was it back there? MySpace, I think?
Yeah.
And she has
Absolutely,
no idea. And now, like what Mike is saying is true. I'm not trying to like belittle women, but there's women that think they're from a 1 to a 10, a 14, because they're being DM'd 40, 50 times, come to Dubai, come to, come here, come there. And in their head, they think like the Drake effect, right? Like if they can fuck Drake one time, they think that they can marry a guy like Drake. And then now we're just fucked. Like guys are fucked.
Yeah.
Well, but it happens a lot though, right?
Yeah.
Like that is what's happening right now.
And even if it's
so
not
we can
happening,
tell all,
the perception of it is still just
which is still reality though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because let's say that all men made a bet together tomorrow 8 a.m. They've said stop DMing girls every day. You can only DM one girl every 50 days. I feel like a lot of this would change, but the social media has changed a lot of the attraction dynamic.
Exactly. Like I grew up in the pen pal era.
In a what?
The pen pal era.
They said pimp.
She did say pimp. She did.
Get the app today. It's on apple.com.
The pen pal, when you write to people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Long distance, because I danced in
People that you
shows.
never met and you would just exchange.
No, it was my high school friends. Like, I didn't. There was no internet. There was no nothing back in those days. Yeah.
There are studies that show, this is actually in, I believe in Evolution of Desire, where they talk about as men watched more pornography or looked at images of attractive women, they started to deem their partner as being less and less attractive.
Yeah.
The same thing happens for women, guys. It
Yeah.
does. And like your partner doesn't do anything wrong, but you are just constantly comparing him. And because of Dunbar's number, which is anthropologically or like historically, humans were in tribes of about 115 to 150 people. You're not in a tribe of 150 people. There's going to be 60, 70,000 people watching this show right now. And so when you come to that realization, like you have access to infinite levels of people and you don't recognize. So now you start to stratify for that top 1%. Things become unrealistic and you're all trying to chase Chad and Tyrone and then it becomes a fucking problem.
Well,
Mike,
you know what it is though? When you do that, then you start finding value in real, authentic, genuine people.
Of course.
Mike,
You know
Mike,
what I mean?
what's the solution? Mike and Rollo, what is the solution here? I have an idea.
You go first and I'll say.
De-incentivize. It boils down to operant conditioning. It's basically I'm going to be Rollo the behaviorist right now. It's operant conditioning. You have to remove the reward. And no one has the will to remove the reward. People have asked me about, what I was just on Tim Pool asked me exactly the same question. I'm like, you have to remove the incentives. You have to remove the rewards. Oh, how do we stop OnlyFans from like destroying the world? You have to regulate it. It has to be federally regulated for anything, if you want to see anything happen, because there is no incentive for anyone to stop watching or producing right now.
All of your guys' friends do OnlyFans.
Oh, I know.
Every single one of your girls is friends.
I know, and I'm not suggesting that we do that, but that's the only way I can see where you could, and that's just one example, right?
So women should stop sleeping with men out of wedlock.
Is coming.
Don't have sex with any man unless you
OnlyFans anymore, you guys.
Incentive.
What I'm saying is because women will say, well, if guys would be better, then women will be better. Okay, the only way you do that, disincentivize whatever it is that women are rewarding men with, and therefore you will change the dynamic. You change the nature of the game. It's never going to happen. I'm not suggesting it. I'm not endorsing anything. I'm just saying if you want a mechanic that would work, that's the only one that'll work, and no one has the will to do it.
He's expressing a mathematical equation, or he's expressing an if-then statement in programming.
See, watch your head, your eyes gloss back over in your head when I throw out.
But he's expressing a mathematical situation. He's not expressing. It's not a prescription. For me, no, we're doomed. I know people hate when I say this. The decline. We're fucking doomed. Enjoy the decline. Men will be fucking robots. Men will be fucking robots in 10, 20 years, and women will be having women will be having children with other women. You should read Ray Kurzweil's book called "The Singularity Is Near." The final chapter talks about this. But even when the Titanic was sinking, some people found lifeboats. I'm trying to create a lifeboat. That's what this is.
Yes.
And I'm telling you right now, so it was actually Ruslan of all people. He said this. He goes, my kids are going to look like fucking superheroes. You want to know why? Because they're going to be able to fight. They're going to be able to bench press. They're going to be able to play football. They're going to be able to talk to strangers. They're going to read books. They're going to do all these things.
Shift.
Yeah, they're going to do all these things. He goes, my kids are going to look like fucking superheroes. So me and my guys, we're going to look like superheroes while the rest of you play fucking video games, watch a bunch of porn, and fuck robots.
Yeah.
That's
weed.
Yeah. Yep. It's sad the way the world is going right now.
Hey, now there's
but going back to you real quick, when you were talking about feeling guilty about
Just
standards.
Oh yeah. Do you feel like
I'm high right now?
What?
I got one.
I got one left.
Can I read two more super chats here? More Culture Club USA visitors and AV super chat. Hey, Culture Club USA. I'm not familiar, but thank you guys for coming and joining us. And then Mark Fischel, for the woman on the panel, would you rather find out that your man is cheating or bisexual?
Ew.
Bisexual for sure.
Who's that ready? Raise your hand for bisexual.
Yes.
And raise your hand for cheating. You'd rather find out he was cheating.
I'm 50-50.
I mean, I would say neither.
That's a great question. We're gonna ask it. We're gonna ask it next week. I love it.
Next week.
Great question, Mark.
Last one here. Strike it rich. Thank you. Women claim to be demisexuals who need to get to know a man to get off, but do they need to get to know their toys that vibrate so they can get off?
Yes, you got to get that double D battery.
I mean,
that triple D battery.
The vibrating thing doesn't talk back to you.
I'm not gonna take responsibility for this, but I am, because I think we brought the Demi Lovato into the picture. So let me just clear this up real quick.
You brought a vibrator?
If you think you need a vibrator because what you got going on down there isn't good enough, listen, we can do it. We can do it. Strap that thing on, man. I'm not mad at you.
I'm just going to say a bad artist blames his tools.
All right, guys, thank you. Real quick, before we're done, I want to ask each one of you, do you have anything that you appreciate, liked, or disliked about the show today? Looking for feedback.
I mean, I honestly love that I've been staring at your tits the entire time.
Me too. I'm right there with you.
Sometimes the conversation goes out, but I'm like, oh, they're so fun.
But then they move on the phone. It's like, yes.
So, I got like a thing on that this entire show. And
Bria?
then wondering what your relationship coach.
Bria?
I'm just going to go with the generic answer.
Yeah.
I'm grateful we all got the chance to all come together and have a great conversation.
Okay, come back, Bria. I'm excited to have you.
I gotta say, man, I'm actually very surprised with the vibe here. You guys have really good energy. I look forward to whatever happens.
It just depends on who's here. You just gotta have the right components.
I'm the kind of person, I kind of, you can't really bring me out of my skin, so it doesn't matter who's sitting at the table. I'll tell you how I feel. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm very grateful that it's been such a great vibe. Everybody's telling their truth. Everybody seems very real, and this is awesome. Yeah.
Lisa.
I actually loved it. It was my first time on here, so I was actually a little bit nervous. So, because I don't like...
You did good.
I like it. No, so I actually liked it. It's very enjoyable and to sit here, so I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
Snort.
Did anybody feel picked on? So that means Jamie Lynn can come on here.
Jamie, come on.
Jamie can come on the show. Nobody's being picked on.
Hasn't Jamie been on here?
She has. She was on.
You guys
she just never came back on.
Yeah.
What do you think, Arya?
I enjoyed the energy. All of you guys are great. I feel like I learned some shit.
I wanted you to come more. Say more stuff.
She will next time.
Insert.
Jesse,
What?
what do you think about the show?
Oh, God, they're all the same. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm here 100 times. You just want me because I'm like.
You're 10 out of 10
loud.
extroverted, just like
You're
me.
always the X factor.
Yes.
Oh wait,
You're
sorry, I
that
didn't mean to
girl.
say that.
I'm
Oh, bro.
the wild card.
I love the show. Never sit me next to a fucking Puerto Rican. Other than that, I loved it. No. Mike, I'm so proud of you, bro, for making it happen. And Rolo's our first time meeting. You do have great energy. You guys are killing it, and I couldn't be happier. I love the fact that people don't understand you guys that much, the clickbait, but when I sit down here, you guys are really good fucking human beings, honestly. And really proud of you, Mike. Also, to shout out, I'm going to do a shameless plug. I have a movie coming out in June, July. Evan Ross is playing Mystery, the world's greatest pickup artist. This is my movie. I've been trying to make it for 9 years. Most likely on Netflix and Hulu. It's based on a reality show I did in 2007 called Pickup Artist. And yeah, life is great. Yeah, and just one more thing though, for every guy watching this right now, it's not really like men versus women right now. And I also do feel like if you guys are feeling isolated or lonely or having any kind of like weird thoughts, always reach out to your homies and don't be too scared. Whatever guys are saying, like men who cry are bitches and whatever, all that shit. Like men go through shit, and always make sure. One of my passions of making movies and why I do what I do is like preventing suicides and depression. Like just reach out to your homies.
Yeah,
true.
Amen.
It's a tough one
Amber?
to top. I initially came as a supporting role, so
Yes.
I'm very grateful that I guess some people pressured me into sitting here
Isn't
today.
it great? It's therapy.
Instead of peer
Thank
pressure.
you for
I like the energy a lot more than I thought I would. I thought I'd be kind of.
You see, this is the thing, right?
Yeah, so like, guys, so my girlfriend is going to Paul Mitchell's school. She's studying to be a cosmetologist now, and they do a share circle every Friday now. They go and they share all their
this a
feelings.
lot, yeah.
So this is our share
drum
circle. We're going to do the share circle every week.
Here in spirit.
Yes, she absolutely is. Awesome, man. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Please come back whenever you want. The difference between this show and the other shows is that I know you. It was the first time we met, but I know you guys.
That's
something
not true.
about you.
Whenever I did that thing with the dating thing with the feet and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Holy shit. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
the
right. My
thing.
bad.
Yeah, I did that.
But what I try to do a little bit different with the show is that I like with the other shows, whether it's whatever Fresh and Fit or whatever Purple Pill or No Fugazi, is that they don't really know the girls that are on the show, and I try to know because
Let me go on that one.
Yes, I want to. Yes, I want to provide a little bit more context in the conversation rather than to be so acrimonious. So that's something we're trying to provide that's a little different.
Awesome.
So anyway,
It's a different kind of show, man.
Yes. Anything else?
Yes, I was just on Tim Pool. That was a lot. That's why we didn't have a show last week, but we will have a show next week.
We sure will, and it's a special show. You guys might want to come back for next week. I promise you.
Yeah,
promise
we got a good one.
You might definitely enjoy
my
that.
birthday. My birthday is April 2nd. So
I had no idea.
that'll be the birthday.
I had no fucking clue. No idea.
Baby.
Whose birthday?
I'm just 16.
I already forgot what day that is. I already
And
forgot.
also on April the 1st, you get an Aussie birthday.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
An Aussie.
Yeah, we're a day ahead.
Sounded very sexual.
Yes.
Thanks.
Let's have a joint party. Joint dinner party.
So this Thursday, I guess that'll be my birthday.
Okay.
So
Beautiful.
now that I live here.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't even know you had a birthday. April 5th, I'm going on Brad Lee's podcast again. I know that a lot of people like that. We're going to be arguing whether or not we landed on the moon. We did land on the moon.
Oh my God.
We're going to.
Let's go.
We did.
Can I just sit in on that?
Yeah,
one?
definitely. You can sit on it. By the way, Oswald shot Kennedy by himself. You guys want to go at it? We can. The other one is we're going to be talking about is on the 18th is going to be Babes in Toyland. It's going to be halfway to Halloween in Los Angeles. You guys should come to that. Girls are going to be dressing all in.
I'm going to dress up in my Ken.
Halloween.
When is this?
In your
April 18th in Los Angeles.
Oh,
On April 20th in San Diego is going to be the Bunny Ball. The Bunny Ball.
I'll be there for that.
We're going to be
yeah.
raising. We're going to be raising money and also
I gotta be
collecting
there.
animals, bunnies for kids in orphanages. Okay, so that's going to be by the way, Bunny Ball is humongous.
Yeah.
Like it's like Babes in Toyland is big and it's mostly girls. Bunny Ball is fucking huge.
Let's
if you guys
do
want to come to
it.
that. On May 18th is going to be Babes in Toyland, the white party in Miami at the SLS.
And we will be at that.
If you guys want to come to that whole week, we're going to be doing Danza Project. We're going to be doing maybe Brandon Carter. We're going to be doing Fresh and Fit. We're going to be doing Saucecast. I'm trying to work out something with Patrick Bet-David. All those things that are coming up that week. So that's what we have coming up in the future. And then hopefully once I get word from Tel Hak Sun, we'll start the bikini competition sometime in May, June, or something like that.
I'm here for
Beautiful.
it.
Awesome. Anything else?
I'm ready to panel this.
All right.
You guys ready? I can't wait for the summer panels during the bikini competition. That's going to be fun. Guys, take care. We got much more coming for you. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.